views expressed on Talk Real Solutions, hosted by Tyrone Thompson at TalkRealSolutions.com, are the views of Tyrone Thompson and do not reflect the views of TalkRealSolutions.com, YouTube, or etc. The content here belongs to Talk Real Solutions and its many contributors. Views and opinions expressed by all contributors belong to them and not TalkRealSolutions.com or Tyrone Thompson, the host, or etc. All data and information provided on the site is for informational purposes only. Talk Real Solutions makes no representations as to accuracy, completeness, correctness, suitability, or validity of any information on this site and will not be liable for any errors, omissions, or delays in this information or any losses, injuries, or damages arising from its display or use. All information is provided on an as-is basis.
All right. Welcome to the show. Welcome to the show. This is Talk Real Solutions. And I am your host tonight, Tyrone Thompson. I want to thank you for tuning in. Today is January the 16th, 2025. And we have about 4 more days until the fall of Rome, the fall of democracy, the inauguration of a tyrant, a dictator. But if you want to participate in the show tonight, if you want to call in, you can call in to the number at 717-908-1834, and I'll open your mic and I'll get you on the show, and you can share your questions, comments, or opinions on whatever topic or subject matter you want to speak on, or speak on the subject that we're speaking on. But yep, we're headed into this new year, 2025. And, usually I'm optimistic about things, a little jovial, if you will. But I believe we're living in serious times now. And the programming of the Matrix, if you will, has been somewhat successful as they've divided Americans, pitted us against one another, have us fighting about trivial shit that don't matter. And in particularly, they did that to Americans, but in our community, it's even. They have to go even further. Have us fighting about single mothers and fathers in the homes and criminals and whatever we talking point we pick up and use against each other to bash each other over the head. That's part of the plan too. All of this fighting, all of this back and forth. I mean, it is clear to me now that there's an agenda of divisiveness, and I'm just gonna admit that it's somewhat successful, because you can't have a conversation in this country now without somebody on either side of the conversation or political ideology wholeheartedly defending their position and not even trying to compromise and come together in the middle as an American and just move a conversation forward. That cannot happen in this country at this point in time. And it's purposeful. That somebody did this on purpose. I can't prove what I'm saying, but clearly the agenda is successful. When you look at the election and selection of billionaires and millionaires to head up a democracy, when a democracy is supposed to be for the people and by the people, and that's clearly not what we have. We've seen the purchase of this the purchase of this presidency by oligarchs, right? And that is counter of what a democracy is supposed to stand for. The reason we have a democracy is because we're supposed to vote the elected officials in, and they supposed to govern based off of how they were voted in. And one would argue with me about, we'll say, well, yeah, we voted Trump in as a group, but you're not looking at the nuances. You're not looking at why you voted for Trump. The propaganda that was in place, the seeding of division, even it used to be where they had the lower echelons fighting and fussing with each other and all that kind of stuff, and the politicians didn't get involved. They would just stand back and watch the chaos and hope the results of them seeding division would elect them to office. But this go round, the Republicans and the wealthiest and richest Americans and people across the world, because it's not only Americans paying for this, and the politicians actually put their hands inside of the fighting and fussing and the misinformation. I can give you a good example with the pandemic. You know, that's the first time in history where science has ever been questioned, and questioned to that degree, because you always had the lunatics out there. But you've seen prominent people in powerful positions actually taking a position to seed conspiracies and lies and misinformation, and that picked up credibility for those people. So they just continued with the divisiveness, with the lies, with the conspiracies, with the racism, and they just openly get involved with all that stuff now. This has never happened before in history. And that's why I keep saying that this time is a little different. You know, this time is a little different. And I don't know what the outcome. I know that I usually try to be optimistic about what's going to happen. I usually try to, say that a positive outcome. I try to see a positive outcome on everything. It didn't even matter. But this time I can tell you with almost 100% certainty that once whether it's Project 2025 or Vivek Ramaswamy and Elon Musk with their Doge office, or Donald Trump, whatever agenda that we are made to deal with, it's going to be something like we've never seen before. And when I say that, what did I named the show something crazy. You see, I don't I don't think of the name of the show until I freaking named the damn thing. But I said 4 days until the fall of Rome, right? But what I mean is 4 days until the fall of democracy, 4 days until we're going to have to get used to a new norm when it comes to politics and the way things are done. And I can say that I can defend what I'm saying, because whenever you look at some of the Supreme Court decisions over these recent times, and you look at some of the judges' decisions, right? All in support of Donald Trump, regardless of what the law is, you see the foundation of democracy eroding. And what happens when a major decision like the Supreme Court made to give the President of the United States immunity is made? When a major decision is made, like to give the President of the United States immunity, is made, and what they do is they make people not focus on how significant that was. At one point in time, we used to say in this country that there is no one above the law. And that included the president. That included the president. So that was a major change, because now you can't say that no more because of his immunity decision that came out of the Supreme Court. Right? So they changed the Constitution right in front of our very eyes. And the supporters of Donald Trump and the Republican Party are made to look away from that major decision that the Supreme Court made by feeding them things like transgender rights and transgenders on the swimming team and Dr. Fauci, and they're able to make them look away from these major decisions being made by stirring up low IQ type of fodder that these guys feed into, so they don't talk about the major decision. The 14th Amendment decision in Colorado, I said on this phone that the Supreme Court got it wrong. That is a change from the Constitution. Was it the 14th Amendment? No, not the 14th Amendment. Whatever it is, the insurrection amendment of the Constitution is. I don't know if it's the 14th or not, but Colorado made a decision to say that President Trump was unqualified because he participated in an insurrection. And they based that off of the laws of this country, of the 14th Amendment. And the Supreme Court overturned that and said that that ain't what it actually says in the Constitution. And the only way you can hold this president or him accountable is if some actions by Congress get done. That was added. That is not what the damn amendment says. That man is disqualified from being president. Once again, you see the erosion of the laws of this country. I can go on and on and on. You can go with the Fani Willis situation in Georgia, right? When all those charges, the RICO charges down in Georgia, was legitimate, right? A grand jury found that those charges were legitimate, and they went through the court proceedings. But because of democracy is eroding, you can see that they picked away at those charges in Georgia. They tried to hold, they took Fani Willis to fucking court, and she didn't break the goddamn law. You know, and because this man manipulated the system and paid and cheated and lied to become president, the Georgia case is, I think, is thrown out or is out of the way now or whatever. He broke the fucking law, right? And you can see this system going away. Now, right now, we're watching Donald Trump be the only beneficiary of lying and stealing and breaking the law, and him reaping the rewards of not being held accountable. Even with this last charge that was in New York, of the 34 count felonies, in which he's a he's a felon now, because he did get charged and sentenced by the judge, but the sentencing had no jail time. There's some more erosion of democracy. If you say this man went to court and he got found guilty of 34 felonies, not one, not two, not a dozen, 34 fucking felonies. And he go through your system and you can't sentence him to anything. Nothing. Not probation, not pick up fucking goddamn paper at the park, not nothing. Even though he's a convicted felon now 34 times, he should have been punished under this system. Right? So we're watching some more erosion of the system of laws in this country. And like I said, I'm kind of worried. What's up, Frodo, ABC, East Coast, and MJ? ABC's a dumbass. Liberation Day in 4 days. You's a stupid ass motherfucker. See, that's the kind of shit that I'm talking about right there. Is the propaganda was successful because you got morons like ABC that actually believe that he's going to be liberated when this racist, rapist, 34 count felon, thieving, cheating, just awful person become president on the 20th. ABC thinks that he's going to be, his dumb black ass is going to be liberated. You can't make this shit up. So he's kind of proving my point about how successful the propaganda has been when you got fucking morons that actually believe that people that break the fucking law, lie when they take office, cheat and steal. If ABC thinks these type of people is representative of the country that raised him, that he was born in, under the ethos and morals of this country's values that used to exist, he think that this person represents that still, right? And the reason that ABC is confused, and people like ABC, ain't specifically talking about him, I'm talking about all them dumbasses, but the reason people thinks that this is the right move is because they've been programmed and taught that the system is so bad that it needs to be torn down and broken down and just demolished to a point to where it don't matter who's in charge. You know, it don't matter a billionaire. Now, I agree with the system is fucked up. As a black man in this country, I will not hold my tongue when I tell you how fucked up the system is, right? But there's a way you got to move and manipulate things in this country so you don't wreck the lives of everybody whenever you're trying to correct it, right? But these motherfuckers don't give a shit. They don't care. They're just in a cult to where they're following you know what? I heard and that's where I got the idea from, to name it 4 days until the fall of Rome. I heard this, what's this man name? See? Tom Hartman. I don't know if you guys ever heard him before. And he did a video and he was comparing what is going on in America to, let me see, to the fall of the Roman Empire. That's Tom Hartman on the screen there. I don't know if y'all know him. I when I was listening to Sean Hannity and Rush Limbaugh and all those kind of people on the radio, I used to tune into this guy's show and listen to him because he's not on the right, he's on the left. And hold on. Y'all need to be looking at my email. Oh, y'all ain't looking at it. Where we at? I'm trying to see if I can get a but that's the guy there that I was listening to, and I'm gonna play y'all the audio of this guy so y'all can hear what I'm trying to articulate. you know, he says it a whole lot better than I do. But my point with invoking ABC and all those guys is that they were successful. Rupert Murdoch, the racist Australian that owns Fox News and this media mogul, this guy who's actually feeding misinformation into the minds of Americans. This guy was successful. Elon Musk, the richest man in the world at the time, as we stand, he's successful. Elon Musk comes from South Africa, that has nothing to do with our way of life in this country, and he doesn't give a damn about how Americans are and our history. Elon Musk don't give a shit about none of that. So Rupert Murdoch, Elon Musk, Donald Trump, the man who shits on golden toilets, all of these rich people are now controlling the government. We used to feel some type of way because we were involved in the political process when we vote people in. But you can look at the right and see that even though they went to the polls and they voted, they don't give a shit about their vote, because they're telling you that even though we voted, we're going to install the richest man in the world to be a part of our cabinet. These are the same people that was complaining about George Soros and all of the money that was funding left-wing movements in the country. And now all of a sudden, whenever they have a rich donor that we can plainly see, we always knew they had rich donors like the Koch brothers and all of those people, but we always knew they had rich donors. But you can see them screaming about George Soros contributing whatever little bit of money he did to the left. That really didn't matter to them. They wanted they wanted to be the one to reap the benefits of having a rich person donate to their causes so they can change the messaging and become this, I don't know what you would call this country of authoritarian, this rollback of the norms in this country, and this demolishing of the democracy that we know, right? And and the reason I'm saying that democracy is over, and I don't want to well, I don't like to try to give my definitions of things, because everybody always come in here and argue with me. Well, that ain't what that means, and blah blah blah, and all this kind of shit. So I read it off the goddamn Google. And when I say democracy is demolished, it says it's a system of government by the whole population of all eligible members of a state, typically through elected representatives. That means you and I, we vote and we are represented by the people that we choose to be in office, right? And this country has two major parties. So if one of those major parties outvote the other major party, then that means that party wins. So this election, the Republicans supposedly outvoted the Democrats, so the Republicans won, right? That's the democracy at work. Even though the people on the other side don't agree with it, we honor and respect the fact that the other side won. Now, how they're getting fucked is that even though they went to the polls and they voted, Donald Trump and the Republicans are saying, screw your vote. We want Elon Musk to run things. We want the billionaires and the other oligarchies to run things. So they're screwing them over by not representing their interests as Americans. And they're going to govern based off of big business and rich people in this country. And they don't need stupid ass ABC no more. They don't need dumbass Sarge no more. But Sarge and ABC are so fucking programmed that they don't see that shit happening to them. Not one time doing all of that yelling and screaming that Sarge did over the years has he ever promoted Elon Musk. As a matter of fact, if you get into a long conversation about ABC about Elon Musk, he'll probably argue with you against Elon Musk about electric cars because they don't believe in science, right? Neither one of these motherfuckers actually supports Elon Musk because of the science that Elon Musk promotes. But now that Donald Trump has embraced Elon Musk, you see these dumbass motherfuckers just allowing Elon Musk to take over their party. And then Elon Musk done bought Twitter and is stifling free speech over there and pushing right-wing fucking racist propaganda. Well, of course they support him. Of course they support him. This is how stupid they are. They have no morals. They have no character. They have no standards. They're just brain blobs of fucking idiots just going with the winds whenever it comes to the Republican Party. That's what they do. It's sad and it's scary at the same time. You know, it's one of these things to where we in trouble. We in trouble as a country, and as African Americans, I just want to say I know that we're resilient, and I know we're going to get through this. We always do, but you just need to be aware of whenever you are around these people in your daily lives, even though you have to deal with them. These people don't give a shit about you. They'd rather see you hanging from a damn poplar tree. African Americans in this country has went through so much, and now our situation or agenda is not even getting spoken of at all, right? The wealth disparity in this country, the conversations about reparations and justice and equality. As a matter of fact, they're ripping away at the fabrics of what Black Americans have accomplished in this country, as you see legislation against DEI and legislation against voting rights and just things are getting the book bans in this country. They're just slowly ripping away at what African Americans have achieved in this country. Affirmative action rollback, right? That's why I put the last part of the title back in chains. I don't mean literally back in chains, but that's their intentions. That's their intentions. Let's be for real here. If they could do it tomorrow, they would gather every one of us up and put us on a goddamn plantation somewhere. Because it was a long journey in this country for us to get where the fuck we at, right? From 1619 to when the first slaves landed on this shore, and every struggle afterwards in the damn cotton fields, getting beaten, ancestors getting raped, murdered, lynched. Everything that we as a people fought for, right? You had the rebellions black slaves in this country. Hold on for a minute. I got some audio going, so let me shut that down. You had the rebellions of black slaves in this damn country, right? And it's just we fought and fought and fought so many damn decades to accomplish a little bit in this damn country. And whatever we have accomplished, they're going to never really catch up, right? And whatever that is, they're willing to tear it down and misrepresent history and tell us that equality is not important, inclusion is not important, even though we get discriminated against constantly on a daily basis in this country. There's
whether it's our stories,
there's so many damn things in this country that we fought for that modern day African Americans don't understand how important it is that we maintain what our ancestors fought for, that they just give it up. And the reason I say they give it up, because you got motherfuckers that exist like Sergeant ABC, even though they are the direct benefactors of people swinging from a goddamn tree. Their ancestors are the same ancestors that fought for civil rights. So they because they've been programmed to say, I don't want to hear about slavery no more. Or why are we always talking about slavery and why are you a victim? Motherfucker, we are fucking victims. Since 1619. Look up the goddamn definition of the word. It ain't nothing to wallow in, right? It's just a statement of fact. It's nothing to be proud of. It's just historical facts that when somebody grabs your ass off of your home continent, tie you up, chain you up, throw you in the bottom of a goddamn ship, bring you thousands of miles from home and force you to work for goddamn free generation after generation, you are a motherfucking victim. That's just a fact. So, but they come on here and say, well, you playing the victim mentality and all this kind of stuff. That's just a way for them not to address the facts of how black people have been treated and who led the goddamn charge in this goddamn country, which is racist, white, savage Americans. That's just a fact. But because we can have that conversation so freely now, because I can say those words so freely now, it's like sticking a goddamn needle in their ear. They don't want to hear it. They don't want to hear the facts of history. Right? And then we went through all of that. And then you had, for economic reasons, another motherfucking racist president, Abraham Lincoln, set us free. People can say, well, he's free to slave. Yeah, but why? Y'all need to dig into that. I ain't gonna get into that. But I think Abraham Lincoln was one of the presidents trying to send us back to Africa or some bullshit that he was trying to do. I can't quite remember. But yeah, he freed the slaves. But, you know, his hands ain't clean either. And that's the struggle that we go through in this country. Right? In 1865. And then you had to deal with segregation and Brown versus Board of Education and all kinds of just racist behavior in this country, right? And our ancestors went through that. But I don't understand how we got one motherfucking black MAGA. I don't understand why we got one fucking black Republican. See, our ancestors stuck the fucking together. There was some that opposed, right? The major movements back in the day. But I attribute that mindset to our ancestors of them being comfortable being in the cotton field, of them being comfortable of the white man taking care of them. Their mindset wasn't there. They were scared to step across that line. So we had some of them, right? And I acknowledge that those people exist, but I can't blame them because of the society that they lived in and the mental fucking torture and trauma that they was going through. They were scared. They were scared to speak against the white man because of the repercussions, because of look at Emmett Till, right? Shit like that happened. The white man could walk into your motherfucking house and just take somebody out and murder them and get away with it. So I understood that. I understand that mindset why some black people back in the day were not so boisterous or so rowdy. So I get, because it was at the cost of your fucking life if you said something, if you looked the white man in the eye, if you didn't get off the sidewalk whenever he was walking by. You could end up at the end of a goddamn rope. So I understood why our ancestors, some of them, didn't want to be rebellious, right? And I'm pretty sure it's more complicated than I'm putting it, and why some made the decisions that they made. But I understand at that time why some of them did what they did. But for the life of me, in 2025, these mentally ill black people like Tim Scott and Byron Donalds and Candace Owens, all of these stupid ass black people that somehow or another find justification in supporting the oppressor, the racist ass motherfucker that would love to see you lynched. I cannot. Sarges of the fucking world. ABC, who licks Tucker Carlson's scrotum. I don't understand what kind of taste buds this motherfucker got that says that Tucker Carlson's nutsack tastes like cotton candy. I don't understand that. I cannot figure that out to save my life. I will entertain this motherfucker. I will laugh with him. I will debate with him. I will, have a conversation with him. But I'm telling you niggas, there's something fucking wrong with y'all. There is something not right in y'all head. Whenever you don't know the history of your own motherfucking people, the struggles that your fucking ancestors went through, the dying, the jail, the lynchings, the fucking, it's just, it does, if you just thought about your grandma, your great grandma, your great great grandma, your granddaddy, your great granddaddy, your great 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 granddaddy, if you just thought about their fucking struggles, just go home, visit one of their grave sites, go to your own whole town. It'll all lead you back to Southern America. It's gonna lead you to the fucking South. And there's a reason for that. Because At that point in time in history, in this part of America, in the South, is where they fucking oppressed your goddamn ancestors. And they had to fight for every little fucking bit of justice and equality that was gained. You dumbasses have completely cut off your goddamn heritage. And then there's a bigger complication of the damn situation, because they throw religion in there. They give them a white Jesus, right? And that's a whole nother conversation. But some people like Sergeant ABC would justify their behavior with that book. You see, they're not smart whenever, they're not dumb whenever they come to this propaganda and confusing people. So they got different reasons for supporting their oppressor, right? But I cannot for the life of me understand why a black person would even side with the Republicans. Now, at one point in time, I think ABC said something, or it was either ABC or one of those guys said that, or Kenneth or some goddamn body. I was telling them that I could never trust. I can't trust anything that a racist tell me. And they asked me, well, what if it was the truth? And I say again, I won't trust a racist if they tell me that fucking grass is green. I won't trust the racist with anything. And everybody do, no, sometimes you are you telling me that a racist can't tell the truth? Well, I'm telling you that I'm going to question everything, no matter how clear it is that a racist tell me. And for black men not to understand why I took that stance was befuddling to me. I was confused, befuddled. I was like, why don't you understand this? That you cannot trust these motherfuckers. Why can't you understand that you can't trust the motherfucker that wants to see you dead? Why can't you understand that you can't trust the motherfucker that will shoot your fucking child in the goddamn streets if they wearing a police badge? Why can't you understand that they will lock your ass up, no matter if you're right or wrong, that they will put their knee on your fucking neck until you stop fucking breathing? These racists don't give a fuck about believing you, trusting you, but you want to say, okay, well, I can trust them. They got some truth to them. No. And ABC and Tucker Carlson is a perfect goddamn example. ABC, Tucker Carlson will string your motherfucking ass up and light a fucking fire to you hanging from a goddamn tree. But this motherfucker will say, well, Tucker Carlson makes some good points. Fuck them points. Because he's a fucking racist. See, that's the type of dynamic that I'm talking about here that exists with these coon fabulous red bottom bitches, bitches. This is the kind of fucking confusion that I don't understand it. I don't understand it. And how they got to that point, only thing I can attribute to is the propaganda works. The propaganda works, and they fell victim to the white supremacy, racist propaganda. And now that they agree with it, they have to double down and keep doubling down and keep doubling down. Even though the history that I shared with you tonight is actually exists and is real. Slavery did happen. The fucking civil rights movement did happen. Jim Crow happened. Dred fucking Scott happened when they told you that you weren't a goddamn citizen. And then they had to come up with the amendments. I think that was the 14th Amendment. Right? saying, okay, since you're born here, you're counted as a citizen. That shit really happened. It's right there. There's a reason why the 14th Amendment is there. Is because before that amendment, they said your ass wasn't part of this goddamn country, and you was somebody's fucking property. That's what Dred Scott was about. I think he was trying to fight his slave owner, with the Supreme Court, and the Supreme Court said no, this black man belongs to this other person, so he can't be a citizen because he's somebody's fucking property. All of this shit is memorialized in fucking documents in history. I don't get it. And these motherfuckers want to be back in chains. I guarantee you, if they came to those guys' house and said, you know, you got to work in a cotton field, I can hear Sarge asses now trying to justify it. I can hear his ass now trying to validate why the white man needs us in the goddamn field. I can hear his ass now. Call in to Talk Real Salute. You know, Tyrone, they wouldn't be asking us to go to the field if they didn't need us out there to pick their cotton for them. Motherfucker, shut up. You dumb son of a bitch. And when black Americans, and I don't want to put it on one fucking person, because black Americans started waking up a long time ago with the slave rebellions and stuff like that. But when black Americans finally started waking up, right? And having these civil rights movements and all of these Black Panther movements and Malcolm X and Martin Luther King, and you know, what did white America do? They put a bullet in them. They killed them. They took the federal government, FBI, and they murdered them. That should tell you something there. There was no reason for Martin Luther King to be dead. Right? There's no reason for, I forgot the Black Panther leader. I think his name was Huey. There's no reason for him to be dead. We should be those men would probably still be living and contributing to the black community in a positive way if white America and the federal government didn't murder them. Right? But that's what they did. Whenever black America finally tried to wake up and start trying to grab some type of ownership of our own path in this country, they murdered the black leaders. And then there was a mantra. I forgot, the raise of a black messiah. I think the FBI, J. Edgar Hoover, said you don't want a black messiah or some bullshit. But what I'm trying to say is that was doctrine in the FBI, where they didn't want the FBI used the term black messiah in reference to black leader who could unify black nationalist movement the FBI COINTEL program aimed at to prevent of black leaders. So that's what I'm trying to say. The FBI, the federal government, didn't want nobody to be in fucking charge. They didn't want a black leader to raise up and actually lead people, wake people up, where they can become woke, if you will. You know. So the COINTEL program included this mission of not allowing a black messiah to ever become in leadership. And that's just a quote. Is what they're saying is a black leader or somebody to take charge or somebody to be in charge or somebody to rally behind in the black community. That was a real goddamn thing. Right? And that's historical. Once again, that's in the fucking history book. But then you got fucking idiots like ABC and Sarge that completely ignore that, right? And he's listening to me right now, but I guarantee you ain't shit registering in that fucking goddamn horse pill eating brain of his, that ivermectin fucking brain of his, ain't shit registering that is remotely related to black people, what I'm saying here. Because all he's going to hear is, ooh, all you do is complain. Man, that was in the past. Why are you talking about that? That don't matter. That's his mentality when it comes to his own motherfucking history. When it comes to his own, when he's faced with motherfucking facts, and I've got experience of dealing with this guy, the years of experience of dealing with this guy, that is what he retorts. Every time like I would say something about coronavirus or COVID and well, man, that don't matter. We ain't talking about that. That's how he deals with the fucking facts whenever he's faced with them. Sarge deals with it by yelling about other shit. You see, you can't never have a fucking decent conversation with these motherfuckers about fucking black history and facts, because they won't talk about the goddamn facts that are put on the table. And there's example after example. Whenever I handed Sarge his ass on a goddamn platter, he'll start screaming about other shit that don't even fucking matter. And yeah, that's entertaining, but it's also revealing that you can't defend your position, or you too embarrassed to admit that you're being a pawn for the white supremacists. You see? That's the reason that they do it. And I get it. You know, people laugh and all that kind of shit. But y'all being stupid. Y'all are just being goddamn stupid. How long have I been oh yeah. Well, let me play this audio right now. And this audio is of Thom Hartmann, and he kind of breaks it down in such a way that I can't. You know, I'm not a very articulate guy, but I hope y'all understand what I'm saying. But he kind of relates it back to the fall of Rome and how American oligarchy is going to take over. And it's almost the same thing. The ancient. Now, I'm not saying that it's identical, so I don't want you to think that I'm saying that. But at the same time, there's some things that are running parallel when it comes to the rich people in this country and the rich people taking over ancient Rome. When it comes to ancient Rome being a democracy before Caesar, and when it comes to Caesar taking over, right? And the reason that it caught my attention is because I used to watch those shows, you know, like Netflix and PBS and different shows on your cable box now with your little Fire Stick or whatever. They got different shows that shows you how Romans used to be and how Greek used to be. And I used to watch those shows, and you know, they're documentaries. And that's the reason that, because it made sense to me because I watched those shows. So here, I'm going to play this audio and y'all can follow along.
Trump's path to power mirrors Rome's darkest days. For 482 years, Rome was a democratic republic, you know, more or less, but, you know, largely a democratic republic, the world's second after, you know, Greece 1,000 years earlier. And America has been a democratic republic, arguably, for 236 years. The end of the democratic phase of the Roman Republic, which was followed by several hundred years of tyranny, basically, and then the collapse of the empire itself. The end of the democratic phase of the Roman Empire was really brought about by a small group of very, very rich Roman citizens. Marcus Licinius Crassus was the leader of the band. He was the richest man in Rome, in the Roman Empire, the entire empire. Very, very wealthy. And he hated the fact that his taxes were paying for Rome's free bread for all policy. Remember bread and circus? Well, give people free bread, give them the Colosseum, and they won't revolt. Well, he didn't like that because it was being paid for with his tax dollars. So he and a few other rich guys, Gnaeus Pompeius Magnus was probably the most famous. He was called Pompey the Great, or Pompey the Great. They wanted to end the voice of the public in political decision-making. And particularly they want to end free bread, paid for with their tax dollars. So they used their massive wealth to promote authoritarian populism and buy off legislators. It was the Senate, the Roman Senate, who'd be loyal to them. And this created a gridlock in the Roman Senate, which caused the Roman people to lose faith in their form of government. The Senate was no longer capable of getting anything done because the senators who were loyal to the billionaires, to the Roman billionaires, refused to go along with doing anything that would help the people. All they wanted to do was tax cuts for the billionaires in the Roman Senate. Now, I'm hyper-simplifying, but you can read this in multiple analyses of the rise and fall of the Roman Empire. There were three primary elements that the Roman morbidly rich used to erode the power of Rome and replace it with sycophants loyal to them. The first was polarization and elite gridlock. They basically set society against itself, and the very, very wealthy people, prevented any forward progress in the legislative arena. The second was the erosion of democratic norms. They destroyed the idea of compromise, collegiality, working things out in the Senate, that sort of thing. And the third was the concentration of power in the hands of a small elite who funded and thus controlled Rome's senators. It took decades, but they finally succeeded in using that lack of faith in their government, in the Roman government, to replace Roman democracy with Caesarism. Caesarism was, we want a strong man. And the first Caesar to provide that was Julius. He crossed the Rubicon River and seized Rome. And then I believe it was 2 or maybe 3 leaders later, it was all gone by then. I mean, that was the end of it. And, we've seen this, we're seeing something very much like this going on in the United States. I mean, it took decades, but, Augustus Caesar finally just, put a nail in the coffin of democracy in the Roman Republic after, in the years after Julius was assassinated. Here in America, we have a very analogous situation. I mean, it's striking. We have a small handful of very wealthy right-wing billionaires who, since the 1970s, have been funding gridlock, elite gridlock, using their tax dollars to being offended by the use of their tax dollars to support the American version of free bread, which is Medicare, Medicaid, Social Security, unemployment insurance, food stamps, quality free primary education, low-cost college, things like that. And they had their first major success in the 1990s. I mean, arguably, Ronald Reagan was their first success, but the big one was in the 1990s when Newt Gingrich became Speaker of the House of Representatives, because he began doing in the House of Representatives what had really never been done, arguably since the 1850s. I think you could argue that there was an analogous period, but that led to the Civil War. But he began this whole process that was very similar to what we saw with the Roman Senate, in the years leading up to the rise of Julius Caesar. which was a new form of American politics based on political warfare, delegitimizing the American government and the programs of the New Deal and the Great Society, manipulation of the media, populist messaging, and using obstruction as a political strategy. Now, again, these are all things that are analogous to what was happening when basically the billionaires took over ancient Rome. And his efforts were amplified by media owned by billionaires, Fox so-called news and right-wing hate radio, always trash-talking the New Deal and the Great Society programs, calling for more tax cuts to defund the government and encouraging hatred of politicians in the political process. And the result, just like in Rome, the result was political gridlock, or is, the end of democratic norms of collegiality and compromise, and the concentration of power in the Speaker's office, and then ultimately in the Republican Party itself. This has caused more than 75% of Americans to say that they no longer trust the American government. People have lost faith in our form of government because these billionaires funded this rise of these right-wing obstructionists. And I mean, there's this whole movement now to have a new American Caesar. I mean, literally, it started with a guy named Curtis Yarvin, but now Michael Anton, Charles Haywood, Kevin Roberts. There's a bunch of these guys who, sometimes explicitly calling for American Caesarism. In other words, a strongman government, sometimes implicitly calling for it. But here we are. Just like in the Roman Republic, America's morbidly rich and their business interests have funded efforts to denigrate popular government and its programs for decades, all just to serve their financial and political interests. Just like in the Roman Empire, the politicians funded by these elite right-wingers have crippled the ability of our government to meaningfully meet the need of anybody other than their patrons. Just like in the Roman government, Republic, this billionaire-funded gridlock has led our nation to widespread immiseration, homelessness, a breakdown of the social contract, accompanied by the eruption of militia groups and billionaire-funded astroturf movements. Just like in the Roman Republic, the seizure of government by rich men and its subsequent inability to meet the needs of the majority of its citizens has driven popular discontent, loss of trust, and calls for radical reform that includes an abandonment of democratic principles, the rule of law, and the embrace of a strong man like Caesar. And just like in the Roman Republic, that call for reform has been met by a strongman figure who claims that he alone can fix things and who demands total loyalty and subservience from elected officials and the institutions of the state, as we saw with the complete and utter humiliation of Joni Ernst day before yesterday. Trump has now crossed the Rubicon. He's going to be inaugurated, next Monday. He seized the government and is demanding Caesar-like pledges and performances of loyalty and fealty. And next week, we'll see how closely Trump and his Caesarist allies will follow this ancient roadmap to destroy democracy, with oligarchy first. And then, as I repeatedly tell you, I wrote a whole book about this, The Hidden History of American Oligarchy. Oligarchy is a transitional form of government. It never lasts because the people get pissed off that the oligarchs are stealing everything. And so countries either flip back into democracy, as we did in the 1930s and the 1860s, or they flip into tyranny, as Russia and Hungary have done. Which way will we go? Stay tuned.
Yeah, I had my YouTube going in the background, and I heard Thom Hartmann come on and start saying that stuff, and I was like, well, I mean, he's hitting every point, and he's absolutely correct. There is a trajectory of how we got here, and I mostly see the propaganda at work. People like ABC and Sarge evolving to what they, because I can acknowledge that when we was on BTR, ABC and Sarge were completely different goddamn people. I will say that. And I don't know about their politics then, but I can tell you it wasn't what we're hearing now. So I watched the evolution of how the polarization happened, and it's one of these things to where you can't say shit to the other side, right? Because they're so polarized, and they defend this strong man with every breath. Even though we know that Donald Trump cheated on his wife while she was pregnant, and you talk about family values and Christian behavior, we know Donald Trump lied about spending money on a porn star. We know Donald Trump lied about the 2020 election. We see Donald Trump is guilty of 34 counts. He's a felon now. We see Donald Trump with our own goddamn eyes being this horrible, horrible American, this fucking crazy ass human being that, you know, I wouldn't associate with in my personal life. I mean, I would not. I wouldn't tell my children, any of my family members, to ever hang around with anybody like Donald Trump. But with these guys, they just blind to the fact that this guy is so fucking disgusting, right? And that's that polarization, because no matter what Donald Trump does or says, these guys are going to defend him. Just like Tom Hartman said, they're looking for a strong man, right? And then I spoke about earlier how they're eroding the democratic norms. When we watch the Supreme Court make their decisions, we watch Trump break the law and get away with it. We watch his cronies try to go out there and break the law, right? And then the consolidation of the elites. You got your Elon Musk and your billionaires and the Linda McMahons. All of them is a part of his cabinet now. So, and you know, this is just Tom Hartman's opinion. This is my opinion, but I don't know how this thing is going to play out. We've never been here before, and that's what's got me so concerned. Is that this is something that America's never. And when you look at the nomination of Pete Hegseth as the defense secretary, and all of these people that he's putting in his cabinets that have no experience in any of those careers, all of those people are put up there to be loyalists to Donald Trump. Never in this damn country have we ever had anybody in any of these positions say that I am going to follow the strong man, or I am going to be a loyalist to. No, that has never happened in this country, Republican or Democrat, right? Even though their actions might, you know, show that they're loyal to the leader, but they would never publicly come out and say that shit. We've never had a major news outlet position themselves to spread propaganda in the way that Fox News has for Donald Trump. Not just a major news, the largest news outlet, cable news outlet in America, right? And these guys can't see the effects that have on their brain. That, you know, this guy says something stupid, he puts it on social media legitimizes it, Fox News picks it up, legitimizes it, and spreads it. That's exactly how the 2020 election lie got started. He said it, put it on social media, Fox News picked it up, legitimized it, putting on Sidney Powell and all them people. And next thing you know, dumbass Sarge is standing at the goddamn voting box with binoculars. Stupid ass motherfuckers, man. And they don't see the whole trend that is going on of them getting programmed by this propaganda. And that's a good one. Not Fox, but Trump said it was a lie. Put it on social media. Social media spread it around. And then Fox News picks it up. And then once Fox News picked it up, you got Sarge saying that he's going to watch fucking ballot boxes with a goddamn binocular. That's exactly what the fuck happened. And these idiots can't see that they're getting played. And one more thing. I heard that that my first lady ain't going to the inauguration of Donald Trump, and I'm just pissed that Barack Obama, Bill Clinton, George Bush, and everybody else is going to attend, but Michelle is the only one with the guts to stand up against Donald Trump and say, I am not supporting this fucking fascist. So I support Michelle not going to the inauguration. I support her living up to her goddamn word whenever she called Donald Trump a fascist, and all the shit that Donald Trump did against women, all shit Donald Trump did against her husband, against her. I support her not supporting this motherfucker, because guess what? Guess who didn't go to the last inauguration? Donald Trump didn't show his ass up to Joe Biden's inauguration. All right, who's this unknown caller?
Maze.
What's up, Maze? And Sister Lisa, I got your line open. How you doing tonight?
I'm all right. I'm gonna be quick. Well, when it comes to ABC, Sarge, and Solution, you can't speak about the man, and you can't speak. They still on the plantation, and they're the kind that will run. You be in a meeting, they'll be the first one to go back and tell them. And he always talking about the black community and what they need to do and what percentage people. And he's on your line talking. Why he not over there with the people he loves so much on one of their lines and get off yours? Since he always going to talk about you or the people that's over here having conversations, not just being intimidated by one of his ministers that he has that calls him. And that's the way I see it. So, and then you going to stand up there and talk about about a Bible, don't know nothing about it in the first place. That's part of the problem. One been in the seminary or whatever he say he went to, and he ain't learned nothing either. So when you get people like that, you just have to overlook them and say that they ADD and they need medication. Because she take Tucker Carlson over you and bring Tucker Carlson over to your line, which you have open for us to talk about, but he rather use Tucker for us to listen to that piece of mess. And we're not interested. So that's his darling. And so he keep it, why don't he just go on Tucker's show and talk? Tucker won't let him come over there. Him and Camus and all of the rest of them, that's just like that. They got an illness. Because if they they're not immune from whatever happens to anybody that look like us. And they think they're immune, but they're not. Because they'll kick your door in just like they'll kick ours in. And don't think twice. So that's all I have to say. So ABC, get yourself together.
Yeah, I agree with you. There's something wrong with that, boy.
The older you get worse and worse. They want to talk about anybody like to do something good. They got something bad to say about them. And then you got a person in a convicted felon going to be president, and all the people that he done pardoned been in jail, but he want to put them and get our tax dollars. Something wrong with that picture. Rush Limbaugh didn't tell y'all that. Tucker won't tell y'all that either. And a whole lot of them going to be going to jail. That's what I'm seeing. Because they was already in there for doing crooked stuff, and they're going to get there and do more crooked stuff. Because the laws in other countries are not the same as they are in here. And a lot of people are going to be sitting waiting. And they might not be in the jail here, but they might be somewhere abroad. So have a good one.
All right. I appreciate it, sis.
I'm scratching the top of your head, ABC, because something's seriously wrong with you. Have a good one, Tyra.
All right, I appreciate it, and she's absolutely right. Those guys are not going to get it. Like I said, I talked to them because it's entertaining, but they really got problems. Sister Lisa, welcome to the show. How you doing tonight?
I'm doing okay. How you doing, Tyrone?
I'm doing all right.
That's good. You made me laugh when you were saying that if the mayonnaise, and Mace was correct, 100% correct. When you said that if white folks could, they would put us back in chains, and aren't they doing all the drudge work? And you would have some that would try to sell an idea where that's good for the country. They would be out here trying to make excuses why that's right, and you have to look at it and quoting some old something written back from the 18th century about they would find a way to they would find a way and compromise themselves, and they would do that. You're absolutely right. The video that you just played, who was that again?
That was Tom Hartman.
Yeah, Tom Hartman is absolutely 100% right. A lot of us have been talking about where, well, both sides of the party, both parties allow the rich to run things. Okay, we know that. The rich has kind of been running things, getting their way. Not the rich, the wealthy, to run things for a while. I mean, that's a given. But we've never seen it where they just in your face with it. You know, I was watching Bernie Sanders at some of the confirmation hearings today. I think he was speaking with the person who Trump put up, some billionaire, I guess, for the head of the Treasury Department. I think that's who that was. And he was asked, speaking to him about the minimum wage, and I think the federal minimum wage is $7.50. I think I'm pretty sure that's what Sanders said. And he said, "So you're against raising the federal minimum wage?" He said, "Yes, yes."
Wow.
And it kind of, I know, and Sanders was like, it kind of took him aback, but he just went on with his questioning. Then I saw another one of the programs that come on cable news. I don't know if it was CNN or MSNBC, one of their shows. And they had someone who Trump appointed in his cabinet I don't know if this person has to go through confirmation, but he's going to be working with the administration. And the host was speaking to him, was telling him the amount of people that are in poverty in the United States. And it was like, wow, the number, I'm not going to try to quote it because I don't want to get it incorrect. The number was just like, oh my God, you know, it was the ridiculous amount of people who are living well below the poverty line, and the amount of people who are the working poor. And he said, I think that's a great thing. And it took her aback. And he was saying, because that means that capitalism is working, and everybody who wants to be a millionaire or wants to be rich, they can strive to do that. I mean, these people are hiding it. At least they used to not pretend, but hide it a little better. I mean, but they in your face with it. And just like the guy who's or his name escapes me, he is the head of the house. The one that's
is it Michael something?
No, I can't think of. He's the God, why can't I think of his name?
Mike Johnson.
Let me put his name. Yeah, Mike Johnson. Thank you. And him, and you had some other Republican senators. I mean, they put out a bill the other day. You know how Biden and them worked really hard to get the cap on insulin and some of the other medications. They submitted a bill for vote to get rid of that. I mean, they don't give a damn. They don't care anymore. Why? If people can't have insulin, you know, to get rid of the cap that they worked so hard with Big Pharma to get. They introduced the bill, so it looks like that cap is going to go away, because I know the Republicans are going to vote on that, and some other things that they were able to get a cap on for Big Pharma. So they just want it gone. And you sit back like, well, damn, can the people have some medicine? Can they have that? They just don't care.
Yeah, that's what I don't understand. Why they want to take and take and take. I don't get that. They must want people to suffer.
Everything. And like Mike Johnson was laughing, they was asking, is Obamacare and Social Security, is all that on the chopping block? And he was like, yes. And they all sat and laughed. I mean, like, damn. The people can have a little bit of set aside, especially the one that they paid into. And the people paid into Medicare too. Medicare, they pay into that too. They want to take it all the way. And it's just crazy to see that. And I know a certain portion of the country voted for this because a lot of them are misinformed, disinformed, and they have been lied to. But a lot of them would have still voted for it if they can be hateful and racist. Long as they can be racist and hold somebody back, I'm not even going to repeat what Lyndon Johnson said, but that they were going to vote for it anyway. They don't care if they starve out themselves and their children. So some of them were going to vote for it anyway. Some might would think, give it a second thought if they weren't lied to and misinformed. But plenty of them would still vote for it if they can hold, long as the people's color, and mainly black, can't get anything.
That's where it is. Right
so
now.
It's just crazy to see what is actually going on. But just like the video that you played, he was talking about the fall of Rome. Every dynasty, every monarchy throughout history, most all of them fell. And many of them were dragged out those castles. And we all know what happened after they were dragged out those castles. Different dynasties, we had a Gilded Age, and the people, fought back for different rights, working rights, and different things like that. We're here in a new Gilded Age right now. So this too will fall. Regardless of how far they take it, it's going to fall because it always does. That's why it's probably, it would be in their best interest to conduct themselves how they always have. From the sidelines, quiet, but they're so boisterous and loud with it now that it too will fall. And that's the crazy part. And what type of society they want to have? They all want to go to the moon? The ones with all the money and just be there, or wherever they fix up something, Elon fix up something on Mars? Y'all going to go there where everybody else is done? The whole thing is just crazy. And I'm going to put it on. I know people say when it comes to the rich and the this or that color doesn't play a role, that it's just a social construct. No, it still does. Because this is white people doing. I'm sorry. This is mayonnaise people doing. Mm-hmm. They're going to always conquer. And Yeshua was correct last week. And what he says, that's why it's amazing to see black men pumping up white men conquering and doing things like this.
Yeah, that's confusing.
It's absolutely crazy to me. That is very confusing and very crazy. But those people they drank the Kool-Aid and they got brainwashed too. Anyone can get brainwashed if you're susceptible to it, and plenty of people are susceptible to it. So, but it will fall though. It will fall, Tyrone. It will fall.
It's on the way out.
It's gonna fall.
It's on the way out, and it's sad. I don't want to be living while it happened, but and we need to point the blame where the blame belongs, and that's on white America. We talk a lot about these politicians, and these politicians are guilty, but these people that put these people in office are the one at fault, and they so stupid.
Yeah,
they just
at fault. So
go right off the cliff with them.
But people have been saying for decades, the fall of the country. I'm not going to say that it's a definite that it's going to fall. We just have to hope that they're able to stop before they do themselves in, because that's what we're looking at, before they do themselves in as well. And so I'm not going to say, but either the country going to fall or they're going to fall. It's going to be one or the other. We just have to see how all this work out, because this is not sustainable. This type oligarch, and they want to dictate. These types of things, they're not sustainable. They aren't. They just aren't sustainable. And like all of the media, not Fox News, they jumped right out there with the propaganda, because that's what Murdoch and stuff. That's why black people should not be watching TV. But I know they're going to watch it, because that's where they put up all of that black entertainment on there for people to watch and then to make money, advertise this and that. We should not be supporting Tubi because we're helping to support our demise. And that's what the money that they take from that, and they help to build and do the things that they're doing. But when I first heard that, I heard Roland Martin speak on it. Then I heard other people speaking on it. Black people do not watch Tubi. You don't have to. Do you have to be entertained 24/7? We're helping to support. That's one of the reasons they put all that black content, because you will get the black people to watch, and that helps brings in the numbers and the money. And we get used this way all the time. But if you think back, like all of the legacy media is compromised because of who they're all owned by. They're all compromised. It was just so disappointing to see the Washington Post fall, like it has fallen. The Washington Times was all, they've always, not always, but they are. But it was sad to see the Washington Post fall. And then a lot of people didn't know. I didn't know for a long time that Bezos owned the Washington Post, because they've always been a credible newspaper. And growing up in the DMV, a lot of people could count on the Post, especially their editorial pages and things like that, to report the truth. But Bezos owned that now, so he dictates how he wants that done. All of the legacy media, the news, everything, they're not, most of them you'd have to catch up with cable news or alternative news or get it somewhere else on who's showing the confirmation hearing and listening to what these people are actually saying. And legacy media isn't covering that because they're compromised. All I know is if they were teaching history the way if they were teaching history like they're supposed to, it would bring back, or people would remember, not that far back in the future, this same thing happened in a particular area over in Europe, and it started ramping its way up after World War II through the 30s. The media became compromised and the propaganda. And then the people tried to say afterwards, we didn't know. Yes, you did. Just like the people know now, they know that's a lot of lies. Some people are dumb enough to believe it.
Well,
what
fear me about these people, these rednecks, these racists, these sergeants in this country, is even though whenever they get hit in the face with it, they're gonna double down and support it. I guarantee you that.
They know that it's lies. They know, but they have been compromised themselves. And we don't have to go back that far in the future, back that far in the past to see. Once your media is heavily compromised, you have a tyrannical government that has sinned. They're trying to restrict the rights. Women's rights was one of the things that was done during that time, restricted women's rights. You wanted to turn women into house cleaners and birthers all over again. Is that not what we're hearing? Well, they've all women, always were births. But is that not what we're hearing? Do we not see the media being compromised, not reporting on things like they should? Yep. Do we not see that? Do you not? And some of the things that they're affecting the blood of the nation, that type of talk. When I started hearing that, because I studied World War II and Nazi Germany extensively, when I started hearing that type of speak and talk coming out of that man's mouth, and people cheering it on, have no idea what you're listening to. You have no idea what you're listening to. And this is not even that far back in past.
No, they can relate.
So
I mean, it's right there. It's just a Google search away, or look at a documentary.
Google search away.
They got videos and pictures of people saying the shit. I mean, it won't that far back.
Saying the stuff. I was like, what are you all talking about? And them little sneak tips, like certain things that was being put up on Truth Social. And when you look at it, you see the symbols and things like that that Gump was putting up. You don't have to have studied World War II, Nazi Germany, fascism. You don't have to have studied that and sat back and watch everything about that to be able to look it up. If someone mentions or you hear that type of talk affecting the blood of the nation and different little things like that, Google is at your fingertips. Look that stuff up.
Yeah, and they so
Look it up.
stupid. They
But,
they so
but
stupid.
people just don't care.
Yeah, they so stupid that they got people to accept that they want to abolish the Department of Education. Eyebrows should have been raised when they said that. Why do you want to get rid of the Department of Education? They just want people to be dumb.
Where
as
is that all
fuck.
about? They want you to be dumb. They don't want you to have a clue. They want the masses still hooked up in sports, Sunday football, Monday night football, all of the Housewives show,
Yep.
gossip bloggers, what the celebrities is doing. They got money. Not all the celebrities, but a bunch of them, they got money. They want you still your mind on that, the bees and things like that. They want your mind on that so you are unaware of what's going on. And then they got you dumbed down in school, banning books and things like that, taking away women's rights and stuff like that, and all this deportation, demonizing groups of people. This has happened before. This is not new. This is a playbook that they use.
Yeah, they want us on different sides. They want us divided and polarized and fighting with each other. It's working.
Everyone, I think they said something like 80 or 90 million people didn't even bother to vote. Was y'all not paying attention? And I have some family members, my nieces and them, you throw them over in that. They some dumbasses. I was trying to get them to vote. So I got some dummies in my family. And I love them, but they dumb. And some other people that I know, they too concerned with, oh, my birthday coming up. This fresh year I'm getting ready to get, or I'm getting ready to do this. Oh, I want me a new car, or I want me a this, that. They too concerned knowing all of this stuff y'all talking about might go away. You might be living in a different America in a matter of a couple of years if you don't pay attention to what's going on. I don't give a damn what's going on. And I wish, because I was telling my mom this the other day, I wish that my mind was so into nothingness. That's what I look at it as now. I still have my hobby, my dogs, my things that I do, because you got to have an outlet. But I wish my mind was so into nothingness that I could give a damn about the gossip bloggers, that I could be into the reality TV shows, who's doing what beef, what new shoes is out. I wish I could get into that now, but I can't. I can't. I don't care nothing about that. Like somebody, like I see like something like such and such said this and this and that, and they got mad. And then you got a plethora of our people, and I'm gonna say it, women and men, but a lot of men talking about some woman he wants to be substitute to submit, and how y'all acting on these dates, and we, and you got the women talking about, and everybody has just got a foolishness going on. I wish I cared about that, but I can't, and I don't, because we're looking at what these people trying to do.
Mm-hmm.
America is probably not going to look the same. So all this foolishness you're talking about submitting, all this foolishness you're talking about who dating this person, they shouldn't date this person, using this person. This person is a freak, and they doing this and they did that, and Monday, Sunday night football. And I wish, Tyrone, I wish that my brain was so empty. Just for this part, but it's just so void of. It must be nice. It must be nice.
That whole mindset is planted in society too, because I mean there really ain't no damn. Let me see. Women gonna do what the hell they want to do. They're not gonna change where women are now. They're not gonna roll back anything. They're not gonna make them Stepford wives. They're not gonna. Just them complaining is just enough division to have this confusion going on and us not looking at them when they get ready to take all our damn money.
Oh, and the rights too. Tyrone, they try to take away rights. You got some states out here. I forget what state. I saw this today. They're trying to make it harder to get a no-fault divorce. So they're going after the rights. So, I mean, so we cannot ignore that part.
Well,
yeah, the
they're
division is
making
one
stuff
thing,
happen, but
but they're going after the rights.
they want us to be looking other places while they doing other things. You know, none of this stuff don't even need to be happening. I don't. I mean, I don't know. I guess these people just got to find out whenever this country start crumbling. I guess that's when people are gonna see these people true colors.
Well, that's what it's always been. You take like local government, they have the people to come in and vote on something. It's something as simple as what we're going to do with the mailboxes, or what we're going to do with how the water is brought to your home. Something on local government, and so many people could care less about that. Then when it changed, why am I getting this bill? Why is this? How come? And people was like, they had been talking about that for a year now. You didn't hear about that? No, I didn't. So you mean we have to pay, and they going up on taxes and this. Yes. You weren't paying attention to that? That's usually, Tyrone, you know that's usually how it goes.
Yeah, it is. People don't pay attention when they're supposed to.
No, they don't. Your cell phone bill, I just got an email from my cell phone company for saying some changes that they making. And I was like, what Verizon, what y'all talking about? And then they said that they're going to start charging $20 for something or other. I'm going to have to call them about that tomorrow, because what they sent, it wasn't quite worded well. And I need to get an understanding of that. An extra $20 a month. And they said for what? But it didn't. It just said, but your plan is not going to change. So it says, you supposed to check in that when your bill is higher. Well, how come but enough people, they don't do anything until after it's done, and it's too late. You know that.
Yeah. They steady try to nickel and dime you and take your money, but it's all part of this plan. It's all part of this plan where these rich ass people just want to take and take. I just can't for the life of me understand why they see how much money the people have, and it ain't as much as they got. Why they want to continue to take it? I don't get it. I don't understand that.
I get you want to control. I get you want to control and you want to run it. You've been running it. But you can take the little bit of set aside that people have, that people paid into. We paid into that. Yeah. And you want to take that. The people can't have that. The people can't get insulin. They can't get the other stuff. It's just like, damn. It's just unreal. But legacy media isn't showing that stuff, what is actually being said in those hearings, and how grossly unqualified so many of those people are. Legacy media, they just, because I watched a little piece of the news. I had to go in today to the office, do some stuff, come on back. And I watched a little piece of the Legacy news. And they said at the Senate confirmation hearing, such and such was questioned today, and blah, 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 blah. And they just show somebody asking a question, and that's it.
Yeah.
They didn't show the reply. And people need to hear this.
I can't do it no more. I mean, I don't watch. Well, I might pop in there for a little second and watch some MSNBC, but that's about it for me. I cannot watch these people because they done sold out. I mean, they done bent the knee, and they try to same wash everything that Donald Trump and the Republicans do. They don't actually tell you what's going on. If they would have been tracking, if legacy media would have been tracking only what Trump was saying on Truth Social, if they would have been reporting on that crazy shit, then Trump would have, he probably wouldn't have did as good as he did, because that motherfucker be putting up some crazy shit on Truth Social.
I don't know. I have to look at the numbers, But the amount of people that on social media that does know you need to get your news from alternative media and some of the some of the cable networks, that's where you need to go get your stuff. But for the average person, they get theirs from watching regular legacy media.
Yeah.
They don't know that this what's going on and what these people are saying. They don't know how grossly unqualified this food that this man trying to put ahead of the military and things. They don't know, and that he's an alcoholic and an abuser.
Yeah.
They don't know these things,
Yeah,
and they don't know that this person is saying. They don't know.
People normally like they used to do, get up in the morning, turn on the TV, get the kids ready for school. You know, they turn the news on and then they come home in the evening, watch the news. They just watching the news. They don't know that.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just
They don't
crazy.
know.
And then even with social media, the young Turks used to be the biggest like left leaning thing, but these people didn't.
And look at that. And look at them.
Trump too.
And look at them. You don't know. They don't know that man told Bernie Sanders to his face. No. I'm like, oh my God. You don't want to, Bernie Sanders, is that right? Just a little bit? No. I was like, oh my gosh. And this man said he thinks it's fantastic that all of these people are living well below the poverty line. And they took his stuff. I'm like, oh my God. The people don't hear this. Do y'all know that the strides that they made with capping the medication, the Republicans trying to get rid of the cap?
That is a shame.
Are y'all aware? Are y'all even aware of this? It's just awful. And I just can't get past it. How they just brace them with it.
I may have to move to Canada.
And the average person don't know. Huh?
I may have to move to Canada.
I was thinking about that. If I could get something going in Canada, like get my mama to go with me, my brother and them, they do the best. They be all right, I guess. But I was like, can we move? We move to Ontario or how to get? I was like, oh my God. But the thing is, if we go there, if we have to become a citizen, live there for a certain length of time to be able to, certain things. That's just how it works. But it's like, oh my God, they just brace him with it, bracing. And I agree with you on Michelle Obama must be the only one with some sense.
Yep.
Because I would not go with that. I would not go to that.
Nobody should be going to that damn thing.
But Bush, Clinton, who else? Bush,
Obama.
Clinton, Obama, and some of the vices and their wives, they're not going to the brunch. The hell with that brunch. Y'all shouldn't go to the breakfast brunch. Just like you know how to have a brunch, some type of breakfast.
Yeah.
They're not going to that. It was announced, I think, yesterday. So they're not going to go to that. That's not enough. You all should not go to any of it.
No. That guy tried to take over this damn country. That guy is the opposite.
Bush said him and his wife. And I was like, Bush and him and a lot of people don't know that the ex-presidents aren't going to the brunch. You should, or the breakfast or whatever the hell it is. They say they're not going to any of that other stuff. They're going to the inauguration, but they're not going to the breakfast and some of them other things. They're just not doing it. And their wives said they ain't going. Hillary, all of them, and Pelosi, a lot of the other Democrats said they're not going to any of that. Some of them said they will go to the inauguration. That's it. Michelle, the only one that said, I'm keeping my peace. I'm not going to none of it, any of it.
And I'm proud of her. I'm glad that somebody stood up.
I'm proud of her. And she said, and they not giving, and Barack and them people, whoever the people that work for him, they didn't give any reason why. Because she don't have to give one. She doesn't owe you anything.
No, she don't work for us no more. Michelle is a civilian. She don't owe us no explanation for why she doing what she doing. I'm just glad that
she don't have to explain anything. That she didn't go to Carter's memorial, and I don't know Jimmy Carter personally, but I'm sure he would be. In knowing how he used to talk and things like that, I'm sure he would probably be just fine with it. I understand.
Well, yeah, she didn't want to go because Donald Trump was there. She would have had to sit right beside fucking Donald Trump. Yeah, fuck Donald Trump.
His wife. She would have to sit by. No, let me see. How does it go? No, her and Barack would have had to sit next to Trump and Melania.
Yeah.
Let me see. How does it work? No, she would have to have it. I forget how that thing works. She would have. No, she sits next to George Bush, then Barack, then Melania, and then Donald. Nobody never really did comment on Trump was sitting in the wrong seat. But I'm not going to go through all that. He couldn't even sit in the right seat because Melania was supposed to be sitting next to Trump.
Fuck her. She's a racist too.
So I wouldn't go. I mean, you have to sit there and pretend. I'm not going to pretend.
Yep. And everybody was talking about Donald Trump and Barack Obama laughing and stuff. And I understand. That didn't bother me. I mean, they're at a funeral.
It didn't bother me either.
So I don't think there was nothing
Barack
nefarious about that.
I don't think it was anything to it. I'm sure Michelle probably told him you were doing a little too much. But Barack knows how to conduct himself. But Barack was doing, I wouldn't be smiling. Barack was doing a little too much. Conduct yourself. He knows how to conduct himself. Trump was pretending he knows how to conduct himself. But I didn't have a problem out of that. I know when people made the videos and they were putting things that Barack probably was saying, so how is your sentencing gonna go tomorrow? You know, things like that. I thought that was so funny when Barack laughed. He was like, so what's up with your sentencing tomorrow? Anyway,
and sorry, Donald Trump is an official felon now, so you can't say that he's not a felon. He's been charged. He's been charged and convicted, so he's a 34-count felon now.
And these people voted in somebody they know is a 24/7 liar. I mean, they got him clocked at telling 30,000 lies when he was president. We can't even conceive how many he's told since then today. 30,000 lies when he was in the office.
This is
and
what
y'all
racist,
vote him back in.
This is what racist white America want. I believe they want something to happen to black people whenever he get elected. But I'm telling y'all now.
So.
I'm telling y'all now that y'all better not come this damn way. As a matter of fact, y'all better not come for nobody black in this damn country or y'all gonna get a rude awakening. We've been putting up with this shit for too long.
I know. I was telling my mom that, like, if they was to get buck wild, like if things don't go their way and they get buck wild and as some of them yahoos was to come, take me out, but
people
he might take me out, but guess what? I'm not gonna say the rest because we on YouTube.
Well, you gonna see things. You probably see things like denial of service and all this kind of shit. But black
I'm
people
not talking about that. Like if they got stupid. Like people said, what if they kick in your door and try to do this, that?
No, they ain't gonna go
or what if they did this? I don't know. They're not. But this is just people hypothetically joking about. And what if they did that? They came around everybody else. What you gonna do? This is just joking. It's not coming to that. But let's just say hypothetically on a joke. Might take me out, but guess what? I know where I'm headed. I know right where to go.
They need to keep in mind. They need to keep in mind what was that Mississippi party boat thing when they was fighting on that boat.
Yeah.
They need to keep that in mind because that's how black people really act. That's how
they're gonna act. And I'm gonna be in the upper room with some people. I'm gonna be alone in that upper room. I'm serious. I'm like, I know right where to go. I'm gonna be in the upper room with some other people. But that's just joking because I was on a thread when people were talking about that. Since you can say whatever you want to say on Meta now, and they were talking about that, I said I won't be alone in that upper room.
Yeah, and I wish that black people.
Promise you.
But black people are too connected to Facebook. But I wish there was a way where all black people could just delete their goddamn Facebook account. I do too. That's not going to happen. They're too connected to Facebook.
That's not going to happen. Just like McDonald's got rid of, they said that they downsizing their DEI initiatives and things like that. I wish people could just say, screw you, McDonald's, and don't eat there no more.
Yeah.
We're not that type of people that did the bus boycott back in the day. We're not that. So that's not going to happen. So, it is what it is. But Tyrone, I'm still hoping for the best.
Well, yeah, I want this country to do good, but just looking at the landscape, the layout, and how these things are positioning themselves, I just don't think it's going to be good.
Accurate.
Yeah, I don't think. It's
that's not going to be good. It's not going to be good, but I still have some hope. I got a little bit of hope. Not for those that want this. I don't have any hope for them. But for the rest of us, that's why I don't like people when I see them making jokes where they effed around and you're about to find out. I mean, they was talking about. I saw a thread with a lot of our people was on it, and when it was announced that they pushed them bills to take the caps off, this and that, some other thing, and people was like, "I got my popcorn, sit back and watch, sit back." No, that is not it. It was fun when people started that. Y'all about to find out, but that's not it. Too many people suffer from diabetes. Too many of our people suffer from diabetes and die from diabetes and heart disease. That is nothing to say. I'm gonna sit back and eat popcorn. No. It was fun in the beginning. They're gonna F around and find out. But now too many people are gonna be hurt by this. This is not it, because it's going to affect everybody. So while you sitting back eating popcorn, your Uncle JoJo and Rita need that insulin, and they need that cap too.
And that's how dumb white Americans is, because they the one that's gonna take the blunt of this shit. Well, we gonna take the blunt of it too, but they're gonna be affected also. And I wonder what they're gonna do. Is they just gonna sit there and take it?
Everybody is going to be affected. They get the cut and set aside. The red states more so than anybody else. So I just don't like to see our people. It's okay, but don't sit back and joke how you going to sit back and eat popcorn. You got some diabetics and different people, heart disease and all kind of stuff in your family. It's just nothing to joke about. Don't do that. We need to stop with this now. We're past that stage of, I think, F around and find out. Now, if there's something that's just going to hurt the white folks, the mayonnaise folks, joke all you want. But with stuff that's going to affect a lot of, especially our people, that joke needs to die now. That needs to die. We don't need to do that anymore. Too many people, including us, are going to be affected. And I hate to say, and with all the government layoffs, and not layoffs, but the government gutting the government, different things. He was talking about moving a lot of the federal jobs to bum F states and stuff, trying to get them jobs, wrangle them out of the hands of black people that live in the major, used to be cities, especially like Washington, D.C. And y'all said, well, they're going to find out, got my popcorn. No, stop that. That's going to affect our community badly.
Yep.
And that's the goal.
Well, they just keep these people dumb, and I can't believe how ignorant we are. And with them banning TikTok, that's a part of this shit too, because TikTok used to give, it does give a lot of truthful information. It's got a lot of BS, but it's got a lot of truthful information. So they want to keep people just dumb,
I agree with you. I'm glad you brought up TikTok, because I was going to speak on that. I'm not on TikTok, but I've seen TikTok videos on Instagram and some of the other things, and Facebook. They're all over the place. And I didn't put much thought into that. I mean, we all know the initial reason why they want to get rid of TikTok, but just like I was hearing, I can't think of his name. He was speaking on that today. That a lot of good information is on TikTok, and with Facebook and Instagram owned by Meta, Mark Zuckerberg, who bent down and, who bent down in front of Trump, you're going to have everything far right with a lot of disinformation. Even though TikTok has it, at least that's a mixture of, it's a mixture of everything going on TikTok, good, the bad, the ugly. That's social media. But I think we need TikTok.
And they scared people by saying Chinese people are collecting your data, and the Chinese people, they got all your information, and that's why people are saying that they're banning TikTok. But if you think about it, any damn app that you got on your phone, whether it be Facebook,
They got your
Instagram,
information.
whatever app, they all collecting your damn data. They just are. So I mean, if you're gonna ban
They
TikTok, you need
already
to,
got your data.
yeah.
When you buy something off Macy's and you share your email,
Jeff
your
Bezos,
email is shared.
Jeff Bezos got so
Your
much
email
data.
is shared 1,000 times.
Jeff Bezos got so much data that you can just say that you can just say a word in your house, and next thing you know, you getting advertising on your phone, on your computer. I mean, they just always collecting
On
data.
Apple,
Yep.
and what's those other phones? iPhones, all Apple products, all Android products. They share all your information, so it's been shared. So that was never why about sharing of the information. At first, I thought it was, but then you think about it, all the spam and foolishness that you get, your information is shared. Your car insurance, because they got your email. They sharing it. They sell it. This one's selling it. Macy's selling it. Everybody's selling it. All the apps you belong to, Meta, all of them, they're sharing your information. So TikTok is sharing your information. I mean, so yeah. So it was never that. We know what the initial reason was, but
And I'm finding out. I saw a couple of videos where they got this. I guess you can use Redbook. It's a Chinese app that's like TikTok, but people are getting on that Chinese app and they're finding out that America is really full of shit, especially with how much stuff costs in this country, how much cars cost in this country, how the Chinese people are living. The Chinese people, even though we've been told that they're a communist country and all this kind of stuff, the Chinese people are really first world country, and their people are really doing good. They're able to afford groceries. They're able to go to the damn doctor. There's a lot of things going on in China that we've been misled about. You know, I ain't saying
a lot of things we have misled. That a lot of people are treated like crap. They have second class citizens.
Well, we got
stuff. They
you
got all
got that over there.
But we got it too.
Yeah, you got that over there.
We got it. We had it going on here too.
Yep.
But we got it here too.
So I mean, whenever we looking at these first world, these countries and saying that they're bad and all that kind of stuff, I mean, America is all you got to do is look at the policing of black people in this country, and that's 3 times worse than goddamn China. They beat the shit out of us in this damn country. They just do.
But they do that. They do that to them too, though, Tyrone. Ain't much. I don't see where it's much different. They do that to them too. So, but you demonize, and Russia the same thing. You demonizing them for their atrocities and violations. But same thing happens here. Same thing. I was just watching a piece of a video. I didn't watch it all because it bothered me. It was this 11-year-old girl and some of their friends. They were coming home from school. I think this happened a couple of days ago, and it's just now making the rounds. And somebody had stolen a car, and they had stopped these girls at elementary school, 5th and 6th grade, and they stopped them because they were looking for the suspect who stole the car. They didn't know what they were talking about, and they had one of the girls there traumatized in handcuffs. And their friends and the girl's mom came, was like, "What are you doing?" And this and that. And then then they found out, no, this is an 11-year-old child that you have in handcuffs on her. So the same thing. I mean, we ain't too far from the things that go on in these other countries as well.
Were they black?
It's the same thing here. Yeah, of course.
I found a news article right there. That's fucking sad.
Yeah.
Who's this unknown caller?
It's sad.
Oh, this is Miss Lady. Hello.
Hey, Miss Lady, how you doing?
Hi, Miss Lady.
Hi. I haven't been listening long, but yeah, I'm not watching any of that inauguration. Is it on Martin Luther King Day anyway?
Yeah, it's national, but the national holiday. Yeah.
Yeah, I'll be thinking about that and maybe going to an event for that. But I'm not. But you know, even though the Chinese economy has grown tremendously, they're having some problems now themselves. I was looking at something about Shanghai and how it used to be so busy and how the businesses are empty, the restaurants are empty. A lot of people have lost employment, and I didn't go into all the reasons why. I don't know what's going on in Shanghai. But, yeah, some of those rural areas are still kind of bad. You know, it's like stepping back in time 100 years. But, yeah, the cities are very modern. They have some modern, very nice universities, like the architecture and the building and the technology and everything. They've come a long ways. But, you know, I'm concerned about this Pete Hegseth being nominated and getting that position. I think he was questioned and asked would he use the military on American citizens, and he did not address that question. He evaded it like he evaded everything else he was asked. And so, you know, that's part of that. I think that Project 2025, where you can use the military against protesters. So when people get tired of all this, and they want to protest. I guess, I don't know if he'll call the military out. I don't know if the military will comply. I don't know. But have you heard of Thomas Hartman?
Tom Hartman. I just played one of his videos.
Did you see the one today? It says, Trump's return echoes Rome's fall. Is America next?
That's the one I just played. I just played that whole audio.
That one? Oh, okay. Yeah, I was going to ask you to play it. Yeah, that was interesting, isn't it?
Oh, yeah, because it's spot on, in my opinion.
It's true. It's true. And Rome fell, too, so it's true.
Yeah, it took some decades, a couple of decades, but it fell. And if they keep going where they're going, which it seems like they want to do, it's going to be the same thing.
Oh, yeah, as far as them getting the rich people to cause confusion and polarization and all this divisiveness, I mean, it's the same thing. Eroding the democracy by having people question government and the laws. I mean, yeah, he was spot on.
The thing is, they have technology with all this surveillance and stuff, you know, that they put in place, and that's to keep an eye on us, not on some terrorists. And so I believe, and so that's the only thing. It'll slow folks down. But they were talking about all of these protests that have happened over the past 10 years, you know, Black Lives Matter, the Wall Street protests. It's really protesting against capitalism and corporate greed and unfairness and inequality. And it's going to, so I was listening to somebody, it's going to lead up to like maybe a revolution, like, you know, serious, where people they have nothing left to lose. You don't want to have masses of people with nothing left to lose.
Well, that's what they're going for. I don't know why that's what I was just asking Elisa. Why do they want to take more money from the people who don't have it? I don't understand that.
I know.
It's like they're trying to position themselves so they can take all the money. And what does that mean for us or the people who don't have? They're just not going to have anything.
That's what they want.
They don't want you. They don't want you to have anything. Which is crazy. They can have everything, but they don't want you to have anything.
But when I say have anything, I just the basic needs for living, resources for living, buying groceries. That's what I mean when I say have anything. I ain't trying to
want it all.
Yeah.
You know,
that's what I'm talking about too, Tyrone.
Mm-hmm.
They've done studies that I haven't read, but I was just listening to someone, I can't remember. Oh, it was Scott Galloway. Scott Galloway is very wealthy. And I can't remember how, he's on YouTube and he's done a lot of interviews. He's very wealthy, but he has a moral code, and he doesn't believe that. And he's allegedly he's going to be giving all his wealth away. I don't think he's married. I don't think he has children. He looks like he's probably like late 50s, and he talks about the inequality, the wealth inequality, and he says they've done studies that shown if you have 10 million and you get 50 million, your happiness level does not increase from having 10 million to 50. So why do why are you craving more and more and more? You're not going to increase your happiness level. It's going to be such a minute amount, it's not going to really matter. So there's no need for someone to keep accumulating billions and billions and billions of. They're not getting happy. In fact, it looks like they're getting a little more cuckoo.
But it did benefit Elon Musk because he didn't buy the presidency, but he got enough money to where he's sitting up there with the leader of the free world, So I guess having all that money
that's not making him happy any happier.
Well, no, it's not. I mean, that man got mental problems. He got problems. He needs some friends.
But there's other billionaires. You take Warren Buffett, George Soros, Michael Bloomberg. It's a handful of them that are giving. They intend to give away every last dime before they leave here. I guess they'll leave their offspring and different things like that some money. But they know how they got that money, but they intend to use that money, Bill and Melinda Gates, to do something, to do some type of, I don't know. But the rest of them, they just want to control and rule everything.
Yeah, I mean, that's actually scary. Who's this unknown caller?
Hey, what's going on? Good evening.
What's up, Jay, New York?
Hey.
You ready for your new president?
Man, listen, I just seen something the other day. You got Steve Bannon and Elon Musk going at it.
Mm-hmm.
They fighting for the position for number one what they call that for the bottom bitch. So who's gonna be the bottom bitch? No disrespect to women, but that's a term that they say. You know, for dudes that have prostitutes or more than one girlfriend, right? So I'm just saying I see a lot of infighting going in there, which is going to be implosions, and then I seen something else. I don't know, it sounds weird. I know conspiracy theory. I'm not too much into that. It sounds entertaining, but you never know. Elon Musk is going to build the new future city in California. So all that area that's being ripped up or by fires, at the end of the day, when they come to return, because everybody ain't got the millions that and some people might have lost a lot of shit where they can't even rebuild there, right? Even if they got millions, they lost everything, might not be able to rebuild right there. They're going to turn up over there. Who's going to buy up all those properties? Are they going to offer those people money so they can move out? Right? Because that's what they're doing now. Oh, you know what? You want to go? Yeah, because there's nothing there. So what does a person do? I mean, that is interesting what they said, that they're going to do a future city there. That's where they're saying that's where they're going to be the beginning of the new future city. A large amount of property that they'll take, and they'll be able to do whatever they want. And they to a certain extent, it was for the rich people, right? So, I don't see that that being so impossible. So I don't know. I see that always happening anyway when there's fires. We can go to the basic. That's happening in the ghettos of America. Here in New York City, there's multiple fires. I spoke on this a couple of days ago. It's a lot of old buildings. There's not a real system where they inspect or replace electrical systems in old buildings. I'm talking about from the bottom all the way up. So you tend to have a lot of electrical fires out here, right? Not because of electrical bikes. That's another thing that kind of powers the electrical system here. That's why you hear a lot of those fires happening, and tenement buildings and things like that, because the power of electricity is not set up for that, because there's old systems. So you have a lot of fires, and what happens is a lot of the people can't afford to move back. They end up having to be displaced, when there's large tenement buildings, things like that. And then what happens? When it takes a long time to repair, the landlord usually stalls, and what happens? Some developer comes, throws them an offer, they sell that shit, then those people got to deal with what's to come for that. And what you're seeing is a lot of that happening, and those old buildings are being stalled out, to the point where they're able to sell it out to another developer, and those people have to eventually move out, and then prices go up on those properties. Those people that used to live there can never return there. That's
and I'm hearing that the insurance companies are just dropping people.
And they're leaving on top of that, like the Florida, like what Florida doing. So insurance companies are denying because they maxing out. They're saying, this is going to overload, what we have is going to basically wipe out all the money that they made off of insurance and their profits. And, that's insurance business is about making profit. They don't really care about the person. They don't want to pay out. They deny insurances and things like that. So I see, a lot of that happening, unfortunately, man. And so these conspiracy theories sometimes add, a little flavor in a sense of, it start making you scratch your head on some of the situations. Like, can that happen?
It's like, but you be quick to discount them, not me. I listen. And did the Governor Newsom, who they like to trash, he put a moratorium. These insurance companies cannot cancel these people's insurance that have been subjected to these fires. They can't do it.
Well, that's good, then.
And also, you said you heard that Elon Musk is going to buy up that land, or you read it? Where did you get that from?
No. It was a lady talking online, and like I said, I take everything with a grain of salt, especially with the internet. But it didn't sound far fetched in a sense of it doesn't have to be this big great thing. Now, I'm not saying that he started the fire, because I don't want people to start going into other shit. Now, Can the fire have started? And we spoke about this, I think, the other day, Miss Lady. Said, could somebody add on to that fire that was already happening, that was natural?
Playing into what you're saying.
Exacerbate this shit. So when you say you have 3 different fires happening in different areas, you don't think somebody is possibly intention can go in there and be upset or be paid for by a company and say, you know what, spread that shit. There's already happening shit. And then somebody got the eye on it, a big company, and pay some petty person and say, you know what, go burn that shit up or light that other side of that fire. It's possible. So I'm just saying, it just puts a lot of question marks, and I'm just saying it adds on to the or gives some validity to some of this conspiracy theory shit sometimes. It's like, damn, man, you guys don't help. You know what I'm saying? Like, you start making people question shit even deeper than what it is, and so again, looking at this and you say, damn, the wildfires was crazy, but it spread crazy. Yes, the 100 miles per hour wind, but you saying why they wasn't prepared, like electrical system, power outage, because it may be that energy. It's just a bunch of shit that you start then saying, damn, man, and then I just told you about what they do here. There's fires that happen, the developers come in, the landlords want to sell the shit because they want to make more money. They say, if we rebuild, spend all this money to rebuild it, these people, we're not going to be able to raise the rent because some of them are rent control, so we're not making a profit that we see that we want to make. So what happens? They say, you know what, wait for a developer to come in. You know what, we wait it out. We're not going to fix shit, so we force the people to move out because we're going to give them the conditions so bad, we're not fixing shit. If it's a fire in a building and the last floor is messed up, right, it affects the other building. People might be able to move into the other floors of the building, but there's still damage and things like that. So, and then the conditions start messing up the rest of the building. The landlord just sits back and says, let it happen, and then to the point where he sells that shit to some developer. And again, the people are asked out. They got to move because they ain't going to be able to live in that new building at the price that they had. So if you see those things happening, that's reality. You know, and then we have all type of different scenarios, but, you know, it just puts a question mark, man. And I'm saying, damn, you know what, can he buy that big city? So, Ms. Lady, yeah, I heard this black woman speaking on it, and it just bugged me out. And I was like, can they do some shit like that? And I said, California's a big piece of land, and there's a lot of, you know, mountain. You just never know.
And it has, like, the best weather. I'm not kidding. It really does. And so, you know, that's prime real estate. And then somebody said, what about a Hart with all them winds blowing? Because they ain't never had winds out like that. I don't know.
But you know what, Jay? From the secret city, the city, there's been talk. You can Google that. That's true. That these billionaires, along with Musk, tech billionaires, but the secret city they trying to build throughout Los Angeles and the outskirts, that has been known for a while. So whoever you were listening to, they weren't just making that up. They weren't just pulling that out of their ass. That information is out there. That is their plan. And let me look it up. Hold on.
Yeah, because I remember them talking about making a future city, but I never heard about a location. I never heard really. I heard Elon Musk talking about he was going to build one, but now is a perfect spot. Good.
And with his SpaceX thing, here's his city that he's talking about that he wants to build. Let me see if I can find the name of it.
Doesn't he come in Texas?
So, I say it again.
Doesn't he want to build something in Texas?
Yeah, he's going to build, I think, X. X is going to be launching from there or some headquarters. Like,
also going to China and have a factory built.
So that's their plan, and he's involved in a lot of that. So I'm not a conspiracy theorist. I hate conspiracy theories, but some of them are true. So I don't know. I don't dismiss anything anymore.
Like Operation Paperclip, that was real. After World War II, when they brought all those Nazi scientists here, I think 1,600 of them.
Well, I wouldn't say Elon got anything to do with those. I wouldn't say Elon got anything to do with those fires, but I can see him taking advantage of it and just buying up that property out there.
That's what I say. That people are looking at things like that, and they usually take advantage of the situation. You know, manifest that shit.
Taking advantage.
It up
costing it.
And people can't even afford that. That should be illegal. You know, and then people going to be moving up maybe toward Northern California or outside of California. But those real estate prices, I think, are going to explode. They're already way overpriced.
Yeah. I can see them taking advantage of it and trying to sell it back to them damn people.
You didn't see how the people were putting up the prices on people trying to rent places and even buy property around that area. You know, where
who can afford that? And see that Altadena, because I know someone. She grew up there. She had a lot of family. They lost 7 or 8 houses in Altadena. She said it was a wonderful black community, wonderful, and everybody knew each other. They had businesses and all that kind of stuff. Some of those houses go back like intergenerational, like great grandparents passed them down and that kind of thing. So. And now they're all gone. How did Altadena catch on fire when they're in a canyon?
So I don't know. It could be anything behind that. I don't dismiss anymore. I dismiss nothing anymore. I mean, they in charge. They in power, so they're liable to try to do anything. And this is just speculation. Google, YouTube. We're just talking. This is just what the people are saying. We're not saying that's what it is. Allegedly.
Allegedly
Well, it don't matter. They're getting rid of fact check anyway now, so I guess you can say whatever the hell you want to now.
Well, Google is it? Google's not getting rid of it.
Facebook.
All they gotta do is deny the money that the people need to rebuild, right? The loans, because they not giving no free money. They might give a grant here and there, but they gonna have to pay that back. They make it so expensive, people can't move back. They're not gonna be able to. That's all they gotta do is put up the prices on everything. That's it. That blocks everybody out.
Is the fire still going in California, or did they have it? They have it under
There's
control?
still fires going. That's what I mean. They
It's still going.
Yeah.
They kind of get them under control, but they're still going.
They had to bring people from Canada and Mexico. That goes to show you too. Like, this is a wake up call. If that's a major disaster, right? Imagine that shit breaks out around the state. I mean, on a massive scale, bigger than that, and it happens multiple states. You know that that shit will overwhelm the fucking authorities, man. This goes to show you that if something happens, they might not be able to do shit because they don't have the things equipped. They're not equipped, and they don't have the people.
Mexico was helping battling the fires with their planes and firefighters. They sure were. While other folks was talking about, they wasn't trying to help California, but Canada and Mexico did.
Great.
Well, even Zelensky offered some people to come over here and help, and he at war.
Zelensky?
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Wow.
Another thing, that's a vulnerability to show other countries, right? And I hate to say it, but they can say, all we got to do is start fires all over the place, and we'll overwhelm the damn government, authorities. Think about that. They could
No. I don't think that's a tactic. Even though there's wildfires going on and America is stressed, that ain't got nothing to do with the military. So if you're talking about deploying the military,
I'm talking about causing a natural.
Just causing
to the point where it
you.
cripples this country in massive ways.
I got you.
Imagine just massive things like that happening throughout the country. What would happen? It'll overwhelm the system.
Oh yeah, it will.
That's what I'm saying. I'm not saying that they're gonna come invade and try to kill people. I'm saying they could kill people and mess up the economy, mess up all type of shit by causing shit
morale
like that, and then saying, wait a minute, damn, America can't even handle wildfires. Wow.
And there's nuts out here, right? There's some real. I can see. The Lord, don't give anybody any kind of idea.
But they have caught some people.
But they have a group
starting fires.
And that's their goal, to destabilize the country with all that. The big major cities with all that.
That's right.
And then they're gonna do something to water. They're gonna mess up the water system while they got that. That's a move.
Well, what they were saying that I think it was 60% of California's natural reservoirs is owned by one billionaire. What the hell? And all of the money that Nestle is sucking out the ground over there. It's just, I see the billionaires again. And the billionaires again.
And it shouldn't be owned by this
natural resources should not.
No, not at all. Well,
I heard that was like 60%.
Northern California, it was all secret, but it came out. They had to come out. These IT wealthy people from Silicon Valley was buying up all this land near the Army base in Northern California.
Yeah.
Base or the Army base. I think it's a Navy base. And they're like, who is buying up all this land? And they're getting pushed back though. They haven't been able to get it.
Too.
Yeah, they want a private city where they're going to own, their own city. They're going to own the housing. They're going to have businesses. They're going to own everything. They used to have that where they worked, they're going to have I guess businesses put up in their IT business. I'm not sure what it's going to be. Some high tech, IT stuff, and people gonna work there, live there. They're gonna pay their rent there, maybe their mortgage there, grocery shop there. Those are business towns, and it used to be terrible back in the day where corporations did have that, and the people were poor, and they had to live in that town to that business owned housing. And to be able to work in that business, they had to purchase goods from the corporation-owned stores that were in that town, and they were like really didn't have any real independence at all because the corporation owned it all. And you don't want that.
No, you don't want the same thing happening in Nevada. You have these IT businesses, they buying up all the water rights, the water lands over in Nevada. So they charge people whatever they want for the water rights. They're buying up all the water rights in Nevada. That's the billionaires again. That's all I'm going to say. And these people handed in the country.
They own the utility companies too, like where you get your gas, electricity. That's privately owned, and it's expensive. It keeps going. I don't know.
It's scary when you sit back and think about how much a small group of people own everything.
Oh, I really do. I really wish I had moved to Canada. Like, I really seriously considered it a long time ago, and I kind of wish I had done it. Now you can't really.
I'm ready to leave too. I'm ready to get out of here too.
It's too hard to get into Canada now. Like, even if you have money, and especially if you're older, because they don't want you coming there and then you having health problems, and then their universal health care covers that, because this older white couple, they had a home, they were selling, they had money, they had retirement and all that, and they were like, we couldn't get citizenship. And so the way you can do it, if you get a job offer before you go over there, or you can go over there on a visitor's visa, I think you can stay 3 months or however long it is, 6 months, whatever it is, but you better get you a job while you're there. If you don't have one before you go. I remember years ago I went there. I had so much fun. I'm not going to lie. And to Vancouver, and there was a security guard, a black dude that was working for the hotel as security. And he was like, on the different floors and stuff. And I talked to him. He was from Compton, a brother. And he said he had been there for 10 years. And he said he'll never move. He was very happy. He had gotten married, and he was like, oh, yeah, they treat me nice. And he said, I'm not ever going moving out of Vancouver.
I know that's right. Me and my ex-husband, we had considered moving to Toronto. Some time ago. And we had considered that because we'd gone back and forth there a couple of times. We thought about it, moving to Toronto, but that was back when the going was good. That was back when the going was good.
I know. Family member was urging me to move. They had moved there for a while. They said you'll love it. Very international. Everybody's there from all over the place, all the different countries. The people were nice. That was like, about 20 years ago, whatever it was. I'm sure
when it going. It's changed. When the going was good, I would say mine was about maybe 15 years ago. We were young. We could just go there. This, that. He was, we could do this, such. We talked about it. We actually considered it because we'd gone out there a couple of times, all through Ontario. I think you call it the province out there. Then on up through Toronto a couple of times, and that's when the going was good.
What did you like about Toronto? What was it like? I've been to Vancouver.
It reminded me. I've never been to Vancouver. It reminded me a lot of America. The people, they talk a little different, but I didn't see much different. It was more white people from what I'm used to where I live on the East Coast. But it reminded me a lot of America. The people seemed to be the same here. A couple of times we flew in, and one time we drove across the border down there in Buffalo, New York. I didn't see much difference from the people. And one thing that I did notice, because certain parts of Canada is very diverse. Now, I'm not saying they don't have their stuff, because they do, but what I noticed is like the people who we would see when we were different places with wasn't nothing but white folks, and we're driving through in different places that we spend time and this and that, they didn't look at, like, I put it into as opposed to, I remember we were out in Pennsylvania in Mayonnaise Town, and they was like, where these people come from? Look at them. The people out there, they didn't pay us a bit of attention. They looked right through us. It didn't matter. When we were in Canada, out there to Toronto and Ontario, it was like it wasn't like, where these people come from? We didn't get that. I'm not saying they don't have their stuff, because they got their stuff, but it was a different feel, even though they had their stuff, and it was pretty diverse, the areas that we were going through. And Toronto is a beautiful, beautiful city, and so it just felt very Americanish to me, with a little different spin on it, you know.
Yeah.
Like I could live here, because I wouldn't want to live in Europe, like Britain or any place like that. I wouldn't want to live there. But I was like, I could live in Toronto. I could live around in the Ontario, all up through that area, all through there. I could live there. I could, and I wouldn't really skip a beat, you know. There were things that's going to be different, but I you know, it was like I could actually live here.
And see, Vancouver, it reminded me of San Francisco.
Really?
Back with the skyscrapers, and it was so clean. I don't know how it is now. They didn't have homeless. You know, they have that big, beautiful Stanley Park. It's like Golden Gate Park. And I was there for a Caribbean festival. Yeah, it was fun, and people came from all over. Even this tall guy said, "Oh, you tall?" I said, "You must play basketball." He played for the Wizards. Okay, he was there, and people came from all over. It was a nice festival, and I was there. I was visiting a friend. She's a native Canadian. Her mother had. She was French. She was a Jewish woman living in France, and her mother was actually part of the resistance against the Nazis. Mm-hmm. She was real athletic. She was a yoga instructor and stuff like that. She said she was crawling across the roofs of buildings and hiding folks, spying. So I'm like, well, anyway, but it was, you know, they have a big belly dance community. So this friend of mine, she was really into the belly dancing. So they take a lot of classes. They have belly dancing conferences and events and stuff. And so there was like a Middle Eastern restaurant. We went to 2 that night. We had fun. And so she took me to this one. It was a nice, smaller restaurant, and they had like different women that would get up and do belly dancing. And we ate dinner and we were having our drinks. It was a lot of them. They knew each other, a group that they belly dance together, and they do classes and go around and stuff. The performances were just phenomenal. And
I know about.
Then we partied. Okay, they started partying. Now I'm the only black person up in there. And then I saw like but they was partying because it was those Arab dudes or whatever they were. Probably, I don't know what they were, but we was partying. Okay, and I saw the lady with the
I know
hijab,
that's right.
And we was partying. They played some good
But you
music.
know what? I knew they're back here in the States now, but I've known some people that moved there for about 10 years, and I don't know. They just, from what they said, they liked it there, but they were having problems with these are still from someplace else. with their paperwork and things like that. So instead of going back to where they were from, I don't want to say too much, so you never know who's listening. When they got all of that straight, they came back to the U.S. and set up residence. They're back in D.C. I was talking to her the other day. She was like, you know what? We should have stayed out behind because they were in Toronto. We should have stayed out. I was like, I know that's right. Stayed out behind, but they have now since become naturalized citizens. And then I've known some other people, who has moved there. They're still there. But I don't know. I never thought that I would even consider or living elsewhere in the United States. But I always said I could do Canada. I could do Canada. They got their far right people out there. They have their stuff too.
Donald Trump getting ready to take Canada. Donald Trump trying to make Canada the 51st state.
No, he can't.
I think he just running his mouth to get people mind off of. He's not going to be able to do all that stuff he said he claimed he was going to be able to do, and told so many lies. But I don't know. I can see going there, but it's too late now.
It's too late now. And
I don't think it's too late now.
They don't want nobody. You better have you a job in hand because they don't want immigrants. Because they've had too many now. I noticed there was a large, when I was there, Middle Eastern, a lot of them had moved to Vancouver. They had businesses too. How come they always drive them little BMWs and they always black up and down the street? Mm-hmm. But now a lot of Indians have moved there.
Yeah, a lot of them are there. Yeah,
a lot of Indians, and they really don't want more immigrants at this point. They don't. No, so no. And they definitely not letting no Americans come unless you're extremely rich. They let you come in. But or you got like a job offer, like a good job offer. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think you can get in that. Prayer can kind of help you get in probably. But, black people are moving. I watch these expat YouTube videos, and they have moved to parts of Mexico, Portugal, Panama, Greece. There's black. Yeah. But even this black woman, she looks like she's mid-30s, kind of heavy-set lady. I don't know what kind of work she does remotely, but she moved to Albania. And she smiled.
I don't know if I would do that.
She said the people are nice. It's cheap. Well, the food has gone up. Because now people found out about Albania. They have moved there. The tourists, it's like there's a lot of tourists going there now. And the prices have gone up, like the real estate and stuff. But but you could get like a full, like you go into a restaurant, you can get a full course meal, like say chicken, lamb, or whatever, with a big salad enough to feed more than 2 people, and the other side dishes for like $13. Yeah, I mean it's just to eat out, and the weather seems like it's nice, and the people seem nice, and so she's really happy. She got a condo there in a nice building. I don't know what kind of work she does. I can't remember. But people are just seeking other places. It's black women. It's more black women. They're not trying to be no passport girl, okay? No passport lady. Like them passport bros. They are there putting down some roots, learning the language, working remotely, getting into the culture. They're not there just to trick off and pick up dudes. Okay, they're not there for that. And so it's really, they have like like retired. They have this retired woman. She has an accent. I don't know where she's from, but she sold her house, packed up, and moved to Panama. She had been there and did the tour, and she's very happy where she's living in Panama. She talks about all the different areas of Panama and what do you like and what kind of scene, and this area is this way and that area is that way, and blah blah blah. But some of those places are too hot. It's like, oh, it's just too humid hot. Like Thailand and Vietnam and Panama, depending on where, it can be very hot. So like people get up early in the morning, like 6 o'clock in the morning. They back home by 11. They do their shopping.
But you know what? But you know what? I'm gonna say this. Like when I hear like the ones that has moved to like Asia, and a lot of the talking, I don't believe them. Like the black people and stuff that has moved to Asia, the men or the women, I don't believe they're telling the full truth, because racism is bad over there. But I'm not saying it's worse than it is here, but some of them, like the ones over in Asia, I don't believe them about how great and the people are great and the this and that is great.
Oh, no.
I think some of the
No, it's not. I ran across 2 black women that are living over in Thailand, and it's very complicated to stay there. Oh God, there was all those different visas, and you have to have this paper in, got to do that. Like one person, she got messed up. She was teaching over there, and something got messed up, and she had to leave for a minute to go to Cambodia and then do something and come back. So yeah, and then they said, do not teach if you black in Korea, South Korea. Ooh, they've ran into some problems teaching in South Korea, okay?
A friend of mine went and he taught in Korea for a little while, and Korea, I think Japan. And he said that Japan was a little more inviting than what South Korea. And I was asking, would he do that again? He's like, no. But other places, but now, I mean, he's doing something totally different. But he said, no, Asia is a little different. And then I just don't believe the people who, when they giving all this praise to Asia, that I don't believe. Some of the other places, maybe Malaysia, because a guy I went to high school with, he's living over in Taiwan, and he has a wife and a child. He works for an American company. He's seen Taiwan and Malaysia, some of them, it's different. But when it comes to South Korea and Japan, probably China too, I don't believe. But some of the other ones, Taiwan and Malaysia and places like that, you probably can maneuver much better.
He got friends, black men living in Bangkok, and one has a YouTube channel. I forgot the name of it. I haven't looked at it. And he's been there for a while. Got his little Bangkok girlfriend, and he tells people if they want to come, he gives them information, and you can sign up. I guess he charges a fee, but he goes into everything and what to do, what to stay away from, what's up with the country, transportation, blah, 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 all of that. But he bought an older condo. Like they're putting up all these new condos. They look good, but they're really too small. Like they are so tiny. Oh, it's modern. Oh, and there's pool and a gym, but he says it's so cheaply done, and so the stuff starts breaking and they don't fix it, and it's too small. So it's like, okay, you get you an older condo because they're made much better and they're larger rooms. So the dude bought a 3-bedroom, 2-bathroom condo outside of Bangkok. He knew where to go, and he's really happy there. Big rooms, a lot of space, and they have flooding too, like in certain parts so you have to know where to buy. You don't be on the ground floor. And then there's another town that has, every year they do these burnings, like they burn the trees or whatever. I don't know what they're doing. I don't know, but it's really smoky. So like you don't want to be near that area at all. When they do, it's like I think they're burning for like 2 months every year. And so it's like he'll tell you all the ins and outs, and he's been there like. So this guy I know, he says he has a couple of friends that have moved there, and they've been there for years, and they really like it. They don't plan on coming back because they got in, the getting was good. It's still good. They've had a lot of folks move to Thailand. A lot of men from everywhere move to Thailand. A lot of tourists go there to have parties and fun. That's the fun place, okay, Bangkok. And it's a lot of mess to get into. Like, how they say what goes on in Vegas, stay in Vegas, that kind of stuff. And they have a lot of bars and clubs and all that kind of stuff, okay, prostitution, all that kind of stuff. But yeah, so you have men from all ages, but a lot of them are like, I think like loser men that get over there. They're older and they take a few dollars. They got, their $1,200 a month Social Security, whatever. You know what I'm saying, or whatever, And,
yeah, I know what you're saying. Yeah, I get it. Yeah, because it's cheaper. Yeah, a lot of them are. Because I've seen some of theirs, and I look at them was like they would be priced out if they was trying to live in New Jersey somewhere else. They little check. So I get it. Why they did, and they got some. And they got some little woman that's like 30 years younger than them. So, I mean, some of it, some of it, what it is, and some of them are really, let me stop, because people think I'm gender warring, but you get it.
Yeah, so that's what it is. So it's a lot of them derelicts are kind of moved there because they need a place to live too, right?
Yeah, they do.
I would do the same thing. You think I'd be out here homeless?
I would too.
And give me a condo. It might be a little box, but I can get one for $400 a month. Okay, I certainly
but
would.
You making it. You making it. You getting your little government check or whatever it was that you was priced out here, trying to live in Jersey. So I mean, hey, I ain't mad at it. I'm not mad at it.
I'm not mad at all. And so, and then stuff, food is cheaper, Yeah, I would do the same thing. But, oh, my God, this African young lady was talking about how she was teaching over there in South Korea. It's horrible. And, it's I guess they were racist toward her because she was black. And so she says they wouldn't give her, like, how the teachers everybody gets breaks, right? You get your lunch break and your 2:15. They wasn't giving her no breaks. And it's like, I need to be able to eat. I need to be able to eat something during the day. And she was like, they didn't want her to bring in food. And it was horrible. So she was like, oh, and the parents get on you if you can't discipline their kids. So their kids will complain. The parents will go and complain about you, and then they're kind of like really going at you and attacking you. Somehow this woman, I don't know, it sounded out of a horror story. They were almost preventing her from leaving the building, the school building, and it was a man and a principal, I think, and a woman. They started coming at her. She said, I had to run. So she ran up the building. They were talking in their language, screaming at her, and telling the security guard to close the gate, but she couldn't get out. She said, and thank God the security guard, we would speak, and I'd say hello, and he knew I was cool, so he acted like he didn't understand, and he let me run out the gate. I'm like, what? No, thank you.
That's what you have. I just wish that our people were more welcomed. Some places you are. They look at you as exotic, and I don't know, with the American accent that can help, but then it also can be a detriment. So I don't know. I just wish the best. However you got it going, I want you to have the best for you. How you got it going. That's basically what I'm about. So I'm not mad at it. If you wasn't making, if for some of them wasn't making it here, hey, go where you can make it.
Yeah, I watch some of those travel channels, and besides the stuff like the passport boys and stuff like that, I kind of watch, couples and how they live in this society over there, and like what Miss Lady is talking about, how much stuff costs. I think people can find a better living conditions than America, if they got a certain amount of money, because they struggling over
here. Yeah, if you just have to know what you're doing, where you going, and you really, really have to do your homework. Now, I stand by this. Japan, China, and South Korea. I don't believe a lot of them that's there. Some and people that they're dating, and
you say you don't
I don't believe a lot. I don't believe like the people so great. I said Southeast Asia, like
I'm talking about the ones
South
in
Korea.
China. I seen some people pretty happy in China.
And the ones in, I don't believe them. I'm not saying they are miserable.
But you know what?
They don't live in the brag and things.
They don't live in the big. They don't live in the big cities. I believe they live in the outskirts. They don't live in the big old cities.
A lot of them, they like the people so nice, and I would never come back. And my dating. And then the girl told one story. I think she was in South Korea. And she was telling the story about her dating. And she said, but it's so great that people do this. And when I meet new guys on the app, we go out. The first thing they ask, are you like Megan Thee Stallion? See, it's stuff like that. You're lying.
Well, that's all they know, yeah.
You're lying. Yeah, you're lying. And when they go out, can you twerk? I don't believe the ones in Japan, South Korea, or China. I don't believe it's. I'm not saying it's bad, but I just don't believe that it's all that great. Because some of the things you have to listen to what they say, and some of what they're saying, their experiences, isn't adding up to the praise that they're getting. That's all I'm saying.
Have to work long hours. Yeah. Oh, in South Korea, they work 10-hour days a lot, and they sometimes 6 days a week, and they're forced to go, do all those team, gatherings. Like they gotta go drinking after work. They gotta go eat dinner. They gotta go to some team thing on the weekend. It's like that's too much. They have a high depression rate.
Yes, they do.
And it's very expensive now in Seoul. Very expensive. Mm-hmm. That's not getting married and having babies. They can't afford to. And so it's a shame. It's capitalism. And they were like, there's like 4 or 5 big companies. Everybody wants to go work for one of them. Is it Samsung? What's the other one? Hyundai, just like, and it's like, so there's so much pressure to like be at the top of your class, and everybody's like studying, and it's so competitive. And they said, so now what do you do when everybody's an A student? They all have went to the same type of schools, they've done the same things. How do you distinguish yourself? Well, they're going getting plastic surgery. So in their mind, they're going to look more European. They're going to get their eyes open. They're going to get their face and nose done. They're really into skinny. So the girls are like not eating, and then they look like K-pop idols, and then they have to attach their pictures to their job application or upload it or whatever. It's crazy. This is the level of competitiveness, and so it's it's unbelievable. It's unbelievable. I mean, it's like ridiculous. But now I did run across some different YouTube videos, and they have their own. They're Black women married to Koreans, and they look very happy. There's one She's a dark-skinned woman, very dark. Wasn't skinny. She's lost weight, but she just has that thick type body, with thick muscles.
I've seen her.
You've seen her?
Mm-hmm.
And a little boy, girl. Aren't they cute?
Yeah, they are. They seem to be happy.
Yeah, and then there's another one where I think she's in the military, this dark-skinned sister, and she was introduced by this guy. She said she was at a restaurant or somewhere, and this older Korean man came in over to her and talked to her, and he says, I have a friend, a young guy I'd like to introduce you to. And so I guess he got her number, whatever. Anyway, they got together. He's a fireman, and he's actually nice looking, tall guy. And they've been married and got kids. They go, oh, what did you think about when you first saw her? He goes, oh my God, she's so beautiful. And he wasn't lying when he said it. He loved that woman. They got a couple of kids. They've been married a while. So every now and then there's another couple that got some kids, and they're a younger couple, too. And they both seem really happy. He's a cool husband, too.
What country are you talking about?
They're in South Korea.
South Korea, okay.
So, yeah. So you just never know. Sometimes it does happen. But no, overall, it's very ethnocentric, and a lot of them do look down, especially the older ones, on black people. And it's like be as white as you can. So they got all those products or whatever to whiten up their skin. They still doing all that. But now some of the actors and the K-pop people, they're tired of that. They're trying to be more natural looking, like in terms of their skin tone. Now, they have to get the plastic surgery. If they told they got to do it, they got to sometime whiten up their skin, even if they don't want to. It's a lot of abuse in that entertainment industry. A lot.
Mhm. You're right about that.
You think it's bad here? It's bad over there too, and in China too. There's this one actress I like on those Chinese dramas, and she's very good. Natural. She acts so naturally. And they said she was so abused. She's done a lot of movies and dramas. She's in the latest one called Pearl, the story of Pearl Girl, and I stopped looking at it because it was too sad. They said she was allegedly beat by her manager, and she was in the hospital where she couldn't even walk and hardly talk. And they starving them, and she had to lose all this weight, and they be fainting on stuff, and their blood count is so low, and it's like a way to control them, like they're getting too big, right? And so she's been in the hospital. I hope she recovers, and it's all on the internet. I'm like, what? They showed her in a wheelchair with her head hanging down. I'm like, oh my God. So it's a mess everywhere, but
Wendy.
Where's Wendy? I know. Oh God, Wendy would have a field day with this Diddy stuff. But yeah. It's sometimes though you can go and you go to different countries. You can meet, like a lady I know. Her daughter was working. She had a master's in business or IT or something. She was working for, I think Bitcoin at one point, like a couple of years ago. She was over in France working, doing something, and she met a French man over there. Big money, married, 2 kids. Big money. I don't know what his background is. I forget. She told me, but it's them. She showed me the wedding pictures. It was like out of like one of those movies. You know, not gaudy or anything like that, but really tasteful.
Yeah.
In one of those villa type settings, you know. Mhm.
I think I know. You said this is somebody you know?
Mhm. Yeah, she's living there.
Okay.
And they fly her first class. That's her daughter, and all. Yeah. So every now and then, you know, there'll be a good outcome, but most of the time, I don't think so. No. Mm-mm. No. But yeah. So, but I don't know. I was thinking, okay, if you're gonna move, where are you gonna move? I know Portugal was all the rage, but then the real estate went way up because everybody was moving there. Europeans were moving there. Canadians, Americans was moving there during COVID. So you get a nice house for like $150. It's shot up now. It's like $500,000, $600,000. So there you go.
It's going up everywhere, huh?
Yep. Mm-hmm. And a lot of this private equity is buying up a lot of it too. Men buying it.
Yeah, buying all over the place.
It's global.
That's part of the housing shortage. Global. That's part of the horrible housing shortage that we have going on here.
So, you know, like, that's why people are moving to, like, parts of Mexico, Panama, Thailand, you know, where it's much less expensive. You know what I mean? And you don't have to worry. Mm-hmm. Like in Panama, that older woman sold her house. There's two older women. One sold her house in Las Vegas around, I think I saw her around 6 years ago. And she was 70 years old, and her family was like, "Mama, what are you doing?" They go, "I'm leaving." She says, "Las Vegas is not a place to live if you are an older single black woman." So she's renting. She's renting. I think she has like a 3-bedroom, 2-bathroom apartment. Now it's not the fanciest apartment, but it's adequate. And she has a kitchen because she showed, you know, some of her place. She's up in the mountains in Boquete. And she said, I did the tour and I decided I didn't want to be at the beach. And it's cooler up in the mountains. And it's a town. It's like a town, you know. You're not going to find a 5-star Michelin restaurant, okay? But there's restaurants there, and they have shopping there, and there's, you know, and there's the public transportation is good there. And so her rent back then, 5 years ago, was like $700 a month for a 3-bedroom, 2-bathroom, and they use a propane for their stoves. And she said, I've only had to fill this propane tank, get this filled up. They came and filled it up. It was $25 once a year, and that's her gas. And then the internet was free. The landlord paid for the internet. And the people are nice. She's learning Spanish. She said she fell. She tripped and fell on the street, and she hurt her ankle. And she said the people rushed over, like you could see the concern on their faces. They didn't know her, but they were like, wanted to make sure she was okay. And one lady, she spoke just a little English, but she called her husband to take her. They took her to the ER. And they didn't leave. They wanted to make sure she was okay. And, you know, she said that would never happened in Las Vegas. And she said that she paid, I think she had a fracture. She paid for a hospital bill. It was something like, it was cheap. Like, you know, if you compare it to here, I think she had some surgery on her ankle, just something. but it wasn't like real serious. But I think her bill was like $1,000. Now you go to the ER alone. That visit might cost you just that one visit, and you better not have a whole bunch of treatments done. But by the time they finish with that ER bill, with them X-rays and the doctor and the this and the that, probably stick an IV in you, your bill gonna be $6,000, and that's before you have surgery.
They overcharge us for everything.
Well,
they were saying that healthcare is better in other countries. Do y'all ever heard anything about that?
Yes, I've heard
Yeah,
that.
it depends on the country. Yeah, for the countries that have universal health care.
My daughter
Yeah,
was telling
it
me
is
that I need
better.
to. My daughter was telling me that I need to go to another country and get looked at. She said Thailand, and then she said Canada, and I don't know where else she said.
A lot of places depends upon what it is that you're going for. You can get better care than probably you could get here. Depends upon what it is you're going for. That is true.
Now, I knew a lady, now she was a white woman in her early 60s, and she retired because she was a hippie-dippy type. In her younger years, she had married some African and lived in some village in Africa. And, you know, she was really hippie type. And never married, other than that, no kids. And so she liked ethnic men. So she was on the internet, and she met some Indian man from India on the internet. He lived in India. So they were communicating. And so she said, you know what, I need a hip replacement, but it's too expensive here. And so she I don't know, she found some hospital over in India. Now, this was 20 years ago. She went over there and had paid $2,000 for her hip surgery in India. She said it was a very modern hospital. The doctors were good. She didn't have one problem. We covered
$2,000. That's pretty good. I mean, that's a steal there.
And then she came back for a while, I think, to clean out her. She was renting a house and stuff and take care of some business. She moved right back on over to India, and I lost track of her. So people are they going to Turkey for hair transplants and dental care. And then somebody I know just said, you can get the full body scan, like with everything that shows everything for like $700. And
yeah, that's what she was looking at in Thailand, because they do that in Thailand. Something about a full body workup or something like that, and it's cheap.
Yeah,
full body scan. I had one of those last year. My doctor recommended it. And my insurance paid for it. Not that anything was wrong. He was just like, we're going to do a full body scan. So, because insurance companies don't like to do that.
You got some great insurance, because most of them not going to do
my insurance paid for it.
They should do that.
My insurance paid for it. Everybody. My doctor said, well, we're doing it.
See, that's why they don't want to do it, because if they find something, you might need surgery, you might need this, or you might need
and that's what I'm saying is that if I ask for something, they won't do it. They'll do a particular. If I complain about something, they'll do that. And that's all they'll do.
Yeah.
You know.
They'll do what you call that when with the thing they put on you, put the jelly. I forget which ultrasound and different things like that.
They'll do plenty of CT scans and MRIs and all that kind of stuff. But
and all those kind of things. But my doctor ordered one. This was last year sometime. I was having my physical, and they was thinking it might be some things. And he said, we'll do you a full body scan, a full, what do you call it? When they do blood work, but it's not DNA.
Like your labs, your lipids.
Lab work.
No, it's regular blood work, but they go genetic blood work. And he was like, we're going to do that. We're going to do this. Yeah. And he said, to rule out everything. And when I sat laid up there, had that full body scan, I had to drive about an hour to go have it done. It was nothing. But he said, we just got to check, got to be sure, got to be this. And they did the genetic blood test. And my doctor be ordering this stuff and saying, we got to have it. And he was like, okay, you good to go for now. But
So
the insurance companies do not,
Your employer is a good employer because they
No, they're not. I pay for that. I pay for that insurance. They know they're not. I pay for that insurance. And my doctor's good.
What I'm saying is they negotiate like what type of treatments and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah,
and
you're
that's
right.
what I'm, because I've never heard of that being part of anybody's medical health insurance benefit.
It's usually not. They can do it, but most of them refuse. They do all those other things.
Yeah, they don't. I know I've asked plenty of times, and they always tell me no.
That's not included. I'm telling you, they're getting worse and worse and worse because I had dental insurance a couple of years ago, and I needed to get a crown, right, on a molar tooth. And the insurance was like, and the crown was going to be $2,000, right? And the insurance company was like, well, because I called them, oh, we only going to pay. First they said, oh, we're not going to pay for no porcelain crown. I called them. I'm like, they go, oh, well, we'll pay up to $350 for a metal crown, or we'll pay it toward it, but that's all we got. I said, nobody's putting metal crowns in people's mouths anymore. So I had to pay the difference.
My dental, I have to say that my dental is most dental is crap, and mine is crap too. But when it comes to the health insurance, I have to say mine is pretty good. It's pretty good.
Do, because a lot of them, they don't pay for a lot. I'm telling you.
They don't pay for. Oh, I know they don't. And people was like, "You had a full body scan." I was like, "Here the results, the papers that they gave me that they didn't, because I have lupus. I have discoid lupus, so they just wanted to do a full body scan to make sure, that I didn't have any lesions and things. Because as you get older, when I was young, it was not aggressive at all. But as you get older, I noticed that in my 30s, it started getting a little more aggressive, and then my 40s, then it started becoming more aggressive. So then they said, well, you have to have a full body scan. They're going to pay for it. And I was like, you sure? And he was like, yeah, he ordered it, sent the paperwork off, and I drove to the nearest facility that gave it. I was up in there for about an hour and a half. And they gave me warm blankets because they have to warm that body up. They gave me warm blankets and water, different things like that to prepare me. They shot me in that machine, did that full body scan. He said, okay, great. It didn't show anything. It was this, that. He said, we got to be sure. I didn't think my insurance was going to pay for it, but they paid for it. He fussed with them, and they paid for it.
When they put you in the scan, is it like getting an MRI, or is it like a bullet, or is it like from your head to your toes?
It's like a long bullet, and they split my entire body in it.
And how long were you in there?
Let me see, because they took a bunch of photos, then they stopped. Let me think about how long was I up in there. But the photos taken, the scanning, this, that, and I could see the scan coming up and down when I looked down up in there, up and down my body, up and down, up and down. I would say in between about maybe 45 minutes. I could be off, but maybe like 45 minutes, because they stopped in between. But I mean, I got the treatment. They gave me crackers. They said you could have a sandwich. It was just fabulous. And I was sitting back there with the warm blankets and the TV. They said, okay, it's time. And they shoved my whole body up in that thing. I was happy to have it because it would pick up everything, any growth, anything going on in your body, and I had none.
Now listen, is it you don't get claustrophobic though, right? It wasn't like it was.
No. If you suffer from that, I don't know if you'd be able to lay up in there like that. But I don't suffer from that. No. I was ready for it to be over though. Because after a while, my mind started going to, is this a grave? My mind started playing tricks.
Yeah, what if something breaks? That's the first thing I would be. It's like, oh no, what if an earthquake happens? I'm caught up in this thing. I was like, somebody walk in with some metal up in their pocket. Yes, I started getting a little paranoid, but it was over and done with. And then they sent me out of there with juice and a sandwich, and so it was over with. But no, they don't like to pay for that. Not no full body scan. Not no full body scan. It was a full body scan.
Well, look, y'all, I got to get off here. And YouTube, if y'all listening, I'm getting ready to shut y'all down. But y'all can call in and talk with Lisa and Miss Lady about traveling overseas. But I'm finna shut YouTube down.
I'm getting ready to go too because I got to get up tomorrow.
Q&A session is over. All participants are unmuted.
Before I log in,
okay, sis.
Take my mother to get her thing. So this is good. When we talk next week, we will have the devil.